BIPP, SIBRI are where we encourage public-private partnership. So there's co-funding model available. The product commercialization fund is the last mile where we fund for procurement, capex, raw material, and marketing. We have also created a provision of fund of fund where BIREC is a co-investor in SEBI registered AIFs, and the amount that we put in for investment in the biotech startup ecosystem, 2x of that is being committed from these venture funds which are listed here. So infusing more amount of private equity as well as in the market for the biotech ecosystem. Next slide, please. So this is a snapshot which emerged within this period of BIREC facilitation. Quite a few of these products which have been created developed by the startups, which could also support the COVID requirements. Plus, there are others which were specifically built in, for example, diagnostic kits or the monitoring devices or remote monitoring solutions, sanitizers, face masks, which emerged during the COVID days. The vaccine initiative is the longer initiative, which is still underway. Next slide, please. Through the consortium, just a snapshot that within the diagnostic solutions and variety of diagnostic solutions, nucleic acid detection or seroconversions or antigen detection and other allied areas. So various companies and startups have been facilitated, which have now entered into market successfully with their solutions. Ranging from imported raw materials to completely indigenized solutions, which are now available at a much affordable cost within this ecosystem. Next slide, please. So this would be my last slide. This is to reflect that I have created a dedicated e-portal called biotech-solutions.com. 150 products and technologies which have been commercialized through BIREC support. They have been detailed out here. I would encourage colleagues from industry and other stakeholders that visit this website and see which particular product or technology could fit in your product portfolio. Just like Dr. Shashi mentioned, a couple of them which were sourced in through academia industry partnership. Likewise, there could be many successful opportunities here which are sitting untapped, and if industry comes forward, they can pick up and join hands with the startups to either co-develop, co-scale, and address the unmet need of the society. Thank you very much. I would stop here. Thank you, Dr. Shashi.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Manish, for presenting what BIREC can do, and in this COVID time, what are the different partnering opportunities which are there. That's fantastic. I'm sure that innovators will benefit out of this, and of course also the industry, because there are so many innovations, as you said, which has to see the light of the day. Yeah, so definitely, I think that's a good presentation. Now I request Satyaki Banerjee, CEO. Medical Image in Trivitron, sort of a question: what does an Indian multinational, they are a multinational, look for in partnering with innovators or startups to manufacture and take it to the market? Over to you, Satyaki.
Thank you, Sashi. Thank you, Sashi, and good morning, all panelists. Can I have the slide deck, projected? Harsh? Okay. So a quick introduction. I'm Satyaki Banerjee, and I'm the CEO of Medical Imaging within Trivitron Healthcare. And this question, it's a pertinent question. I mean, what does an Indian multinational look for when partnering with innovators and startups, and how to take their ideation through the development stage, take it to full-scale manufacturing and commercialization. And if you move on to the next slide, so what I would do is, to start off, I'm going to flip the question. So what would a startup generally need, and why they want to collaborate with a multinational company to take their ideation to the market? So the first thing that comes to the mind is they would want an innovation ecosystem where we are able to bring in various engineering capabilities, chemistry, biology capabilities, and validate the proof of concept that they have had, and take it through the tests of various regulatory checkpoints. And that is an ecosystem which probably an organization with a larger footprint is able to bring in. They're able to tap into their individual knowledge centers, take their inputs, and validate the feasibility of taking that idea to the market. The next and the most important component would be the access to manufacturing infrastructure. Several products would warrant a dedicated manufacturing infrastructure. And many a times, that scale of investment becomes a challenge. And that's where, say, for example, a company like Trivitron, which has got more than 15 manufacturing facilities across the world, mostly in India, but also in Finland and Turkey, we are able to bring in that infrastructure ready-made, and we can start working on the prototype development and take it to the next step. Operational support. I mean, any new project is a huge logistics nightmare. There are components which needs to be manufactured at various parts of the world. They have to be fine-tuned, the specifications has to be set, and those needs to go through multiple iterations till the time they are perfected, and once we are sure that this is the specification that would go into the final product. And that's something which probably a company with a larger footprint is able to bring in. And finally, and probably the most important point out here, is an organization with multiple products in the market would have an understanding of the clinical nuances and the regulatory challenges that is most likely going to come up. And it's better to understand those challenges and preempt for them beforehand, rather than facing them at a later point of time and re-engineering the whole product. So if I look at the four important elements which would aid a potential startup in accelerating their product development, so these are the four things which a potential multinational can bring to the table. And the last and the most important point is a product needs to be commercialized, and that needs a global sales and marketing network. If there is a potential for the product, then that marketing network becomes a very important parameter to be considered. With this, let's try and answer the question which was originally posed to me. Can we move to the next slide, please? So when we are looking at an innovation and a proposal which has come from a startup, the first and the most important thing that we would like to look at is whether there is a novelty in the science, and whether it makes a significant difference and a significant benefit to the healthcare community at large. And I would like to call it whether it meets an unmet medical need. If the answer to that is yes, it immediately gets a lot of attention. Now, the second most important point is whether there is a potential to translate that product into a highly differentiated products. All companies in this world, they would have a person called a CFO. And a CFO understands two terms. One is the IRR, the internal rate of return, and the net present value of a project. These are two very important parameters, because most of the projects would need a significant amount of funding. And at the end of the day, there has to be a mechanism of recovering that initial investment that has been made. So once it satisfies the first two criteria, then we move into the next, the technical evaluation. There has to be a very clear proof of concept. I've come across multiple ideas, multiple suggestions where it was the concept was on paper, but there was nothing which has been translated to a product or a working prototype. So that is something which we would generally expect from all the innovators and also all the startups who are coming up with a proposal. If there is a working proof of concept, that accelerates the whole process. The one thing which any multinational would be mindful of would be infringement of intellectual property. So before we start up a project, we would like to look at whether a proper patent landscaping has been done. Are we infringing any other's patent? If the answer is yes, is there a possibility of circumventing that? Is there a possibility of navigating that? Is there an incremental level of innovation can be added? Is the concept itself is patentable? So these are important points that we would like to consider. And finally, understanding the developmental risk and the regulatory complexities. This is far more important from a pharmaceutical and vaccine standpoint, but is getting progressively more important for medical device and medical equipment manufacturers. The regulators, they're coming up with stronger requirements, and we have to make our product compliant to all the continuously evolving regulations across the world. And one final aspect is to check whether our partner company has the ability of jointly working with us to scale up manufacturing, and whether they're able to work with us to define the right manufacturing and the quality processes that is needed to take a product to a global scale. The next slide, please. What I did was I tried to identify a few points which would generally pave the pathway to a successful go-to-market. And it's very important for both the multinational to understand that, and it's very important for the startup company to understand that. And it's better to plan things in advance before getting into a relationship, before getting into a collaboration. And that is going to frame the increase the possibility of having a successful venture. The first thing I would like to point out is the target product profile. It's very important for both companies to brainstorm, get their sales and marketing teams together, get their scientific teams together, and come up with a clearly defined, clearly articulated target product profile. What are going to be the specifications? What is the expectation from the product? And what the product is going to do when it went to the end customer. At this point of time, what we would generally do is we would involve as many key opinion leaders as possible, take their clinical inputs, take their clinical feedback. And once we know that, yes, we have a very strong positioning there, we would like to freeze the TPP and move on with the project. The next important step that we would generally look at is a development plan. A product needs a plan to translate from an idea to a marketable product. And what are the key milestones? There are many a time one needs to take a decision whether to change the approach of the product, whether to re-engineer the product, go back to the drawing board. And I would call it a stage gate process. Once you reach that stage and once you see the technical outcome of it, you question, you put in a few questions and understand whether you're in the right direction. If not, it's very important to relook at the whole program, make modification, and then move on. And then every project needs to have a tangible timeline. We talked about the intellectual property in the previous slide. And at this particular point of time, it's very important to understand what are the target markets for the product, who are the potential competitors, and what are the competing products. And is there a possibility of coming up with a proper patent landscaping? Can we file patents for this product? And depending on the reach that we would like to have or the market that we would like to target, what would be the most economical way of maintaining a patent application, whether we go through the national route or go through a PCT route? So that's an important consideration. Finally, a complete assessment of the manufacturing infrastructure. What are the plants and machinery that needs to be needed? Whether we need a dedicated facility for that product, what are the components involved in scale up, and how do we take it to a commercial scale manufacturing? The regulatory certifications. Depending on what are the target markets, we might need a different set of certification. And most multinational companies would generally consider a product to be launched in a global scale. And that means we are looking at not only the Indian regulatory certificates, but also a CE marking for the product. The product probably would need a FDA 510K, or it might be a de novo application with FDA. Depending on whether we want to target the Japanese market, we need to have a PMDA approval. Or in Latin America, you would need ANVISA approval, in Africa, MCC approval, and so on. So the complete regulatory map the data generation, how quickly we are able to generate the data, what would be the clinical validation that we need to do, whether it's going to be a full-fledged clinical trial, or can we do an abridged clinical validation and demonstrate the proof of concept and take the product to the market. So these are considerations which are very important. And probably once both the multinational company and the startup, we brainstorm on these and come up with a plan, the chances are that we are going to have a very successful go-to-market strategy. And this is probably the most important point. A project with complexity, and R&D projects are getting more and more expensive to develop and to navigate through the clinical trials and regulatory agency. So it's very important to understand what kind of a funding a project would need, and what would be the source of that funding. How do we ensure that we are able to come up with a risk mitigation strategy if a clinical trial fails, or if a prototype development comes up with certain challenges. So understanding of what are the risks involved in the project, and the funding that is needed, and finally translating into a risk-adjusted NPV is something that we would do very early in the process. And once we have completed the above, then the final step would be the global sales and marketing. How do we position the product? Whether it needs KOL endorsements. And KOL endorsements are probably the most important thing that is needed when we are taking a new concept to the market. They would like to have the products with them for a few days, few weeks, test it out properly, give a clinical feedback. We might have to go back to the drawing board, incorporate those features, optimize the product further, till the time we know that, yes, this is the product which the final end customer wants. This is the product which is going to make a difference to the healthcare community. And this is the product we should move forward with development. And once we have done this, finally, it gets down to the promotional strategy and the global distribution network. And this is probably one of the things which most large companies, most multinational companies are able to bring into the table, in addition to the funding and the scientific understanding and the regulatory network. So with this, I would like to conclude this discussion.
Yeah, thanks, Satyaki. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, very detailed, in depth, and I'm sure that most of the innovators will now understand what is that which is needed to when they're approaching a partner as a multinational, Indian multinational. Very, very well said. And one of the things which you said, IRR and NPV, is so important. I think all the innovators have to think that way. And of course, manufacturing and quality processes, because India has never been into the quality processes. So I think that's one very important point. And a global outlook of a product is also very, very key in getting a product success. Fantastic, Satyajit. Now, I would request Ravindranath, DGM Medical Electronics, Bharat Electronics, to sort of tell at what stage should a startup approach and partner with BEL for DFM and manufacturing. I'm sure most of you know from the news that 30,000 ventilators were provided or manufactured by BEL. So let us listen to Ravindranath.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank FICCI for giving us an opportunity to present ourselves. So the topic given to us is how do the startups engage with Bharat Electronics during design time or during manufacturing period. So next slide, please. Okay, so this is our website, www.bl-india.in. So people can visit there. There are a lot of procedures are given, how to get enrolled as a startup vendor or as an MSME vendor or potential vendor for medical electronics products. So to start with a medical electronics product, so we are also like a startup, we can take it like that. We were never in medical electronics field till March of this year. And Government of India has given us this ventilator manufacturing activity. So we never had a technology with us. We took a technology from a technology partner and we manufactured 30,000 numbers of ventilators and supplied. So it became a history now. So having done that activity, we saw a lot of potential in medical electronics field. And you all know Bharat Electronics is a premier defense industry, and we are a 10,000 crore company plus. So that being the this thing, management thought, let us go in a full-fledged way in a medical electronics products. So we have a couple of products which I have shown you on the PowerPoint here, like ventilators, patient monitoring system, telemedicine kind of activity, or it could be MRI system, CT scan. So many programs we are going to come out with a product rollout. So we are looking for technology partners in this area. Could be a startup, even any other type of technology partner. So wherever big products are there, high-end products are there, we are already trying to partner with world leaders in this. And there are some products where we require in terms of software development, hardware development, or a technology module development. So those things I have put it on the screen. It doesn't limit only to this much. So any startups or innovators can approach us. I'll give you the methodology how to approach us. Suppose, for example, I have taken only 4 to 5 to show here where immediately we are looking for partnering with startups. So suppose if we take a ventilators, so we are now coming out with a high-end ventilator, turbine-based ventilator. So where entire hardware has to be developed, and for that software, like embedded software things have to be developed. So we are looking typically from startups to pitch in whoever is in this field. Then second one is the patient monitoring system. Now you know every patient after this COVID this thing explosion, every patient will be having this patient monitoring system beside his bed. So they generally monitor the vital parameters, and future they may monitor much more, and they'll be networked also. So a lot of these monitoring devices, either on a BLE technology or a non-BLE technology, or it could be any other Wi-Fi based devices. So we need the startups to take up the hardware and software development for integrating these sensors, and also to manufacture the patient monitoring system as a whole. Then third, there are a lot of handheld devices out in the market, and we are looking for partners who can work in, give us solutions for us in this field. Could be a hardware, could be a OS related software, application software, etc. Then coming to telemedicine, now you know most of us we are using a telemedicine portal. We don't want to go to hospital of a fear. So we also want to come out with a big platform on a telemedicine, where you know the patients and rural healthcare centers will be connected with the various devices integrated, and both triple play like audio, video, and data streaming can happen over any mode of communication. So these kind of background like bandwidth optimization, AV compression, bitrate corrections, these kind of thing, AVR, VBR, and CBR. So these kind of technology background people can approach us who have worked at this. Then coming to the medical database management, so we are planning for pitching with a few of the potential customers for us, captive customers like state government and government of India, where we develop a large database for them, having the patient database or medicine database or facility database, etc., on a scalable platform. Finally, it will be linked to a NIC portal or a government portal, sort of. So basically, we are looking for people with a database background, scalable database background to work with us. Then there's another opportunity. What we have seen is the medical grade displays. We are also into manufacturing of tablets, but that is not medical grade actually. So we are looking for partners. So where medical grade displays they are into already working in terms of whether it could be a operating system level, or it could be application software, or even the hardware manufacturing. These are the very few things I have put it here. Notwithstanding that, any other medical electronics products which a startup has got the technology with them or IP with them, or they already progressed and they are looking for some partnering either on a TOT base or on a royalty base, they can definitely approach us. So the question was, how do we approach and what level we are really pitching? Next slide, please. Thank you. So how to approach BL is generally we put up expression of interest in website or in a NIC portal. Shortly, we are going to come out with a very big EOI. It will be a global EOI We will see whether national UI also we can publish. And we are going to list out nearly some 20 products in that. And potential startups or people who are in this field can participate in this. This is one method. The second method is you can go to Bell website and register yourself as a vendor. You will get a vendor code there. With that vendor code, you can participate in various tenders. Sometimes it could be even a single tender based. All that we will put it on a system. And if for startups and MSME, we have a schemes. So that I'll come in the next slide. I'll explain you there. And I have given two names. You don't have to wait till UI is published or registration of vendor is done. You can be in touch with these two email IDs and the contact number is given. Since, as I said, we are also startup in this field, we will directly, be in touch with you people. Then how do you, like when to approach BL? As I said, during design phase, you have a regular interaction from the above given numbers or the mail ID. And startups can come and showcase their either technology or their product. So we will have a discussion inside the factory, inside a BL. If you are situated pan India, you can have a webinar kind of thing, web-based, communication. You demonstrate your products. If it is fitting our product line or what we have a plan, definitely we will move forward along with you. Then second, during manufacturing, assume that we have already taken up some product development activity in medical electronics field, and we require for potential vendors in this, let it be in a manufacturing, special manufacturing process, or it could be in terms of harness, or it could be software development, or it could be embedded development. We will be interacting. At that time, you can approach us. So during the production process or the procurement process, you be part of us, so we can sail through together. Then definitely, as I said, only regular interaction can help in the beginning phase till we publish something on UI. So we are open. Our design department is always open for your meetings. You please approach us with all your data, and we will take it forward. Next slide, please. Okay, what are the benefits for startups? This is the most important slide actually. So we have a relaxation in prior turnover. Generally, when we publish a tender or UI, we ask for this much experience should be there, or minimum this much turnover should be there. For startups, it is relaxed actually, and even the prior experience also may be relaxed. And payment may be relaxed also. See, generally we make a payment to all the partners or vendors net 30 days. But here we can think of immediate payment, or advance cannot be made because we government sector, we don't have advance concept. But case to case basis, it can be seen advance with a bank guarantee kind of thing. Otherwise, a payment within 7 days, all that can be thought of. Then whenever there is a new development or commercialization of new products or a process driven by the technology or intellectual property, IP holders can approach us. And you already into some new development, you please come. And for those people, a special priority is given. We will be taking, sometimes we might think of funding also those kind of projects. And startups can use our BL facility. So we have a whole lot of testing and measuring facilities here. Something unique in our whole of Asia also. Like if I say EMI/EMC kind of setup or bump vibration, even we have got a lot of software and hardware platforms here. Basically, we have all these platforms for a defense purpose. So that can be utilized by startups. And there's a Make 2 program and Make in India program. So we want you to be part of this, and we welcome and we will support you. We will be part of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravindranath. That was clear that we have such a lot of new things which the startups can approach you with. And good that you gave the email address. I'm sure that you will be with a lot of emails on how to approach you and so on. I'm sure about that. Now let's move on to the next speaker, the panelist, Professor Praveen Naha, Director, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, NID Ahmedabad, as what's known. And Professor Naha, I would definitely ask you at what stage of innovation does a startup partner with NID and how? And if you can, sort of keep it short, because I think we are exceeding the time limit everywhere. So I think it will be great. Over to you, Professor Naha.
Yeah, sure, Shashi. Thanks for the invitation. And good morning, everyone. I'm Praveen, currently director of NID Ahmedabad, and also industrial designer by background. So I can very well relate to the product development process. I'm pleased to be part of this panel, and I have been asked to deliberate on at what stage innovators can possibly collaborate with NID, or I would say with design or designers, design community. Next slide. NID is a very unique institute. We were established under DIPP, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, and we are into design education, practice, research, promotion, all kinds of things related to design. NID graduates have contributed to diverse sectors. Many of them work with healthcare and medtech space, from a startup to having their own startups to working with local and multinational companies. Today, we run from 3 campuses: Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, and Bangalore. Each campus focuses on a specific, sectors of disciplines. We are very hands-on, experimental, and very interactive in terms of teaching, learning, and our practice environments. Next slide, please. There are many, if you look at design, and there are many designerly skill sets, mindsets, and processes which can support medtech innovation startups at various stages. For example, skill sets include, creative problem solving, visual thinking, actual, making, you need mindsets of being empathetic to your end users. You should be able to reframe constantly your, objective and the briefs. And there's a lot of collaboration and iteration, which is offered by the design mindset. And it leads to better outcomes because you directly closely work with the users and expand your capabilities as an organization. And also design can be understood from a very abstract to tangible side. On the right side, which shows and very discrete to systemic. So you have, on one end, you have a product, product design, UX, UI. On the other side, you have a service design, experience design, which are very, very intangible and abstract, but very important aspect of design. And on the other side, you have communication, process design, strategic design, which are very important for any of the startups to move forward. Next slide, please. In this slide, I'm showing that what is the how the design process looks like. The diagram on the top shows design innovation process, which is a very complex, non-linear, and iterative process which can be navigated using design thinking approach. It is very fuzzy. If you see the front end, it's a very fuzzy front end. But as you sort of navigate this through, you start to get the clarity to move forward. It's very fuzzy, iterative in nature. In the middle, there is a Stanford Biodesign Innovation Process, which is a very famous model in this space, from need identification to planning. So in the bottom, which is being shown as a design deliverables, so design can work at almost all levels of innovation process, right from identification of need and setting up the context, doing a ground level ethnographic observational studies, bringing a lot of insights, converting into research synthesis, to its development process, ideation, quick and dirty, quick prototyping, testing towards its commercialization and promotion, in terms of setting, making the promotional materials and things like that. Next slide, please. So what kind of design interventions for a startup from NID side? So as I mentioned earlier, design can definitely work at various levels. It can reduce cost, it can reduce time, reduce risk of undesirable product by adopting iterative creative process. So at NID, as you see, we have 19 disciplines ranging from industrial design, communication design, IT, integrated design to multidisciplinary, strategic design management, and so on and so forth. So many of these disciplines can directly, indirectly contribute to the medtech startups. We do a lot of classroom projects. So many of them are sponsored projects because it's a hands-on learning and they take up live problems to the classroom. We have a very interesting situation, which is a sponsored final year project, where we send our students as young designers for 6 months to various organizations. Almost like 90-95% students work in many companies to startups to many situations, and many of them actually have worked with startups, and also many of them have partnered with them, and especially in the healthcare sector, there are quite a few recently. We do take up our lot of consultancy projects. Our faculty members head those projects through our design office, and that is also one of the avenue to engage. We have a design led incubation system through our National Design Business Incubator at Ahmedabad and Bangalore. We, like any other incubator, we also support a lot of innovative ideas, and try to give support from mentoring to to the seed funding. NID innovated a very interesting scheme, for the MSME ministry, which is called Design Clinic Scheme, which was conceptualized and set up by NID, and we were running this for about 1 decade, and with the network of including healthcare and industry, and a lot of interesting support has come through this. The last one, I would like to say that we could also, we also run probably design thinking boot camps for startups through our incubator and also through our continuing education program. So there are various avenues through which startups can engage, at various levels, at almost every stage of innovation process, and through various channels, as I explained. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Professor Praveen Naha, which is fantastic. I mean, I think you said one of the things was, the fuzzy logic on design. I think it's very, very true. Initially, you let a lot of changes happen. That's very, very important. That's what you showed in that picture. Fantastic. And of course, one more thing is the sponsored final year project it's also very, 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 very useful, because an industry like us, we have taken that opportunity and then put some of your students into our project. I think startups also can do this. I mean, and benefit out of this. And the design outcome is very good. I mean, fantastic, starting from looking at the end user and so on. Thank you, Professor. Now I request Nitin, again, an NID alumni, to talk about, I mean, in one of the meetings where he was talking about, how he sort of went through and got his product certified through the HTA. I mean, health technology assessment process. That's very critical in putting the product into the market in Indian situation, because anywhere you go, they ask you for evidence. What is evidence that this product will do well for you, for the healthcare or the end patient? So over to you, Nitin. Nitin is a founder and CEO of Sogam Innovations.
Thank you, Sashi. Thank you for inviting me over here. First of all, thank you, the previous presenters. I think Dr. Praveen has set up the design context very well. Dr. Manish has very well put in the support system which is around. And I guess the overall journey of which Dr. Banerjee has talked about is also very crucial. As an innovator, I will talk to you about my journey, and I'll straightforward get into what we are doing and how we are navigating some of the quality challenges and finding out a way to put a product or an innovation, a high-end technology into the Indian market. and we'll briefly talk about the health technology assessment. So what we are working on is early detection of hearing loss in newborns. That is what our forte is. What we have invented is a technology for hearing loss. It's a gold standard technology, works with high sensitivity, specificity, and we made it such that it is inexpensive, easy to learn by healthcare worker, made it telemedicine enabled. This problem is very critical. It is required for almost all the newborns across the world. So it's a global health problem. 90% of this hearing loss problem happens in the developing world. So definitely this technology is required. Currently, whatever equipments are available are imported, very expensive, require prohibitive, costly disposables, and won't perform in the noisy environment of Indian settings. So I started my journey as a biodesign fellow from Stanford, and I dwell myself into the resource poor settings of all Indian healthcare systems. I learned a lot from that, and then realized that we need technologies which can perform in Indian settings. Well, that was the initial part of my journey, where I was acting as an innovator. But sooner I realized that you really need to have a very good quality in the product, so that and also you need to ensure it pretty early on. So that you can launch the product only in India. I will take you through the next slide, please. So we have successfully submitted our application to Health Research Department, which is a part of Ministry of Health and ICMR. There was a great set of scientists who were being paneled for evaluating the technology. It's a long drawn process. I'll be talking about the different stages of the process also. In this, the recommendation which has come out for SOAM, fortunately, through different evaluation process, is that it is a highly sensitive, specific device compared to other technologies, and it is very easy to be learned by healthcare workers and can be implemented in national program in different PHCs, CHCs, and other resource constraint settings. So that is what the recommendation is. But I would love to take you through the journey for the benefit of the innovators who are attending this session. Can I move to the next slide, please? So as you can see, this is the detailed HTA process, which is out there, where you submit an application to DHR, where they scrutinize the application, look at the other data sets which are available if you have done any clinical trials. There is an ICMR regional center which gets involved in evaluating the application. There are detailed analysis of the proposal, and then they take up the proposal, release some funds for conducting a study, which is a combination of clinical and cost effectiveness of the technology. A very important step is that the innovator also need to be involved and understand the whole care cycle in a holistic way, so as to assist the team. And then after the thorough analysis of all these aspects, like how it can be put, this particular technology or any of the solution can be put into use in a public health setting. So that is what is being evaluated from all different aspects. And final data and report is submitted by ICMR Regional Center to DHR for publication. So this is in nutshell the process is. I would love to, like, in the sake of time, come to the key takeaways from the process. One is definitely that the innovator or the company needs to get into the shoes of a public health setting policymaker. Like, what do they value? So definitely you need to have an understanding of the technology and the competitor technologies available, how the product will be used, how a healthcare worker will be trained on the device. And also the current care cycle versus the proposed care cycle. For example, if the disposables are expensive, then definitely it is not something good. So you really need to take care of every such aspect. So it is not just about the innovation, but about the whole care cycle that we talk about. Obviously, you really need to be prepared with a separate budget to support the activity, and also the other cost implication of conducting the study. So my suggestion is that it's a very important process for quality assessment. Generally, that is one roadblock which most of the innovator would see, that how to enter the public procurement system. And the public procurement system would see that how would we trust an innovator. Now, this is something as a bridge which can really help Indian innovators. There are other HTA agencies also across the world, but I guess like this is a fantastic initiative of DHR, and every medtech innovator and company should take advantage of it. Sooner the better. This is a fantastic process, and thank you for giving me time to share this process. Thank you, Sashi. This is what I have to share.
Thank you, Nitin. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, you have, put the seed to every innovator. So let's now see everyone. I think everyone will benefit of it, because most of the innovators are running from pillar to post, trying to understand how the product can be, consumed by the health system. And this is a stumbling block. And once you have this kind of HTA being already approved, then I think innovators can take the product easily into the market. Thank you, Nathan, on that.
Thank you.
Next would be Tulika Puri, who is founder, Center for Design and Innovation, and Vice Chairperson, IVS School of Design. The question here, again, as a design school, what are the innovation ecosystems available for a startup at IVS School of Innovation? Maybe we can start on that and talk about it. And if you can keep it within the time limit, it'll be great. Thanks.
Thank you, Shashi. Good morning to everyone. I would, first of all, I think congratulate FICCI for picking such a pertinent topic, and keywords here being partnership and bridging the gap. Because of paucity of time, I'm going to very quickly go through the essentials. Can we have the next slide, please? I'm, as Shashi very kindly introduced me, I'm the Vice Chairperson of IVS School of Design and the founder of Center for Design and Innovation, which is a platform essentially that promotes design-led innovation. Since I'm trained as an architect, I actually like to start at the foundation and deciding what is the core of the issue here. In my practice of design professional in the past about 20 years in India, what's been noticed here is that even fellow designers fail to sometimes understand the distinction between what I call the small d design and the big D design. It's very important for innovators, particularly to understand the importance of design right at the onset of the process of innovation and taking this whole thing, so designers being a part of the team. So very quickly, essentially the difference between small d and big D design is people tend to believe that designers need to come in at the end stage where the product needs to be just packaged well and taken to market, as opposed to being a part of the whole process of innovation. So design needs to be looked at and actually is a problem-solving tool rather than just an aesthetic tool. So designers can actually bring, they're the link to, can we just go to the next slide? Designers are experimentative by nature, and therefore they add great value to innovation at the onset. Next slide, Harsh, please. So if just by the visual, I think it's quite clear that designers provide the missing link. Now, why is it that we need the link? Why is it that we need this link? There have been studies actually conducted in the US and UK in the past about 10 years or so, where it's been, and I think everybody here does know that innovation in healthcare is probably one of the toughest jobs. It's the hardest to innovate in the healthcare segment. And the studies have actually revealed that if designers are brought in at an early stage and as a part of the core innovation team, a lot of this can be simplified and a lot more commercialization in healthcare to innovation can actually happen. So designers have been proven as the link that links this team of scientists and innovators to the team of commercialization and going to market. It's often actually, as the slide suggests, it's also called the valley of death, from lab to market. So how is it that us designers can actually provide this link? And why is it that we're trained better to do this than anyone else? As we can enumerate many subheads and points if we go into details, but just to look at a few main points, I would say that designers are trained to translate ideas into tangible outputs and do that really quick. So we are trained visualizers. So what happens is that prototyping and testing, so it's been said that fail fast and fail quick, start again. So we can speed up the testing and prototyping process. So therefore you can actually go to market a lot sooner, save time and hence save a lot of cost. We're great communicators. So ideas have been taken into to market, which are extremely appealing, not just to the end customer, but also to investors. Most important, we actually say it in the end, but I think most important being the user perspective. So designers bring the empathy part, and therefore user centricity in markets are most important. So product, process, service, anything that happens, the most important aspect is for it to be customer driven. And designers bring that user perspective and market understanding early on to the discussions and strategic discussions. Can we go to the next slide, please? In today's day and age, basically during and post-COVID times, when there is complete uncertainty about how future is going to unravel, I think if we just keep the three things in mind for people as well as businesses to sustain, and I think right now we should just talk of sustain and forget about anything beyond that. So even businesses, for them to sustain COVID and COVID times, I think three things are most important. One is adaptability, also flexibility. So our business plans, our business ideas, our products, our services, all need to look at everything from a very flexible point of view. Creativity, where we're looking at everything outside the box, because within what's been done, the solution does not lie there. We have to move outside the box to be able to see and foresee the possibilities in the future. Again, last but not the least, it's the end customer, the user experience. And once we are able to identify these three things, we would be able to come up with innovation, a product or service that is currently right for the times. And we call this so innovation, which is design-led. So all of these are actually a design thinking process, which we put into practice to come up with a final solution in innovation. Can we go to the next slide? Again, since the paucity of time, very briefly, I would say that CDI as a platform that promotes design-led innovation essentially is a complete ecosystem that provides learning, incubation, nurturing, helps and funding. So it's a design to business and a business to design platform for innovators. And we are able to, the idea is to bring people together, so collaboratively work on various projects that need help. Through mentoring, we connect you with various networks around the world. showcase products and services, and help in discussions with policymakers and enablers. Thank you, Shashi. I hope we were able to discuss in the short, quiet time available.
Thanks a lot for quickly getting to the point and telling very clearly on what a small d and a big D is. And it's design is just not visuals and aesthetics. It's beyond that, and it's very well put. Thanks a lot for that, Tulika. Yeah. We go to the next speaker now, Dr. Ganapathy, who's the Director, Apollo Telemedicine Network Foundation, Director, Apollo Telehealth Services. Now, he would talk about how they would view and a clinical committee, a member, evaluating proposals for funding. Over to you, Dr. Ganapathy.
Thank you, Mr. Sashi, and thank FICCI for giving me this opportunity. For the last 45, I belong to the BC era. When I say BC, I don't mean before COVID, before Corona, but even before computers. So I was the last group of neurosurgeons who was trained before the CT scan came. So perhaps I'm a little biased, but I want to share my personal experiences with you, having evaluated more than 300 proposals in the last 4.5 years for BIRAC on various committees. Prior to that, I was in the Department of Science and Technology committees for a couple of years. Now, as I said, I've never been a diplomat, and I wish to call a spade a spade. Now, I'm absolutely fascinated with what the younger generation is doing, the innovators. And today, there is a radical transformation in the way in which healthcare is being delivered, particularly digital health, telemedicine, telehealth, e-health, remote healthcare, etc. It is entirely due to this fantastic group of engineers, technologists. But I have a major problem. And like the other committee members, we in BIRAC are extremely unhappy that we are forced to reject almost 70 to 75% of the proposals submitted to them. Now, what do you need to do to ensure that you do not get funding from any funder? Now, please understand that a funder has to look at various aspects. Many of this have already been dealt with by the previous speakers. Now, most of these innovations are, one slide which I like very much, which was shown by a previous speaker, was that any project should be for an unmet clinical need. Unfortunately, in the real world, it is not like that. 80% of projects submitted, and I'm talking of huge numbers, are clinical applications, projects which are meant to be deployed by a healthcare provider, be it a doctor or a paramedic. But there is no healthcare provider at all involved as a co-investigator for the project. Of course, there are exceptions, but by and large, this is what happens. My son always tells me, you can fool all the people some of the time, some of the people all the time, but never all the people all the time. We get the impression that many of the instances, technology, you create a solution, a fantastic solution, absolutely fantastic, and then go in search of a problem in order to make it commercially viable and to have revenue generation. This should not be done. Maybe you will get away with it for some time, but in the long run, if a project is to succeed, it must fulfill an unmet clinical need. In other words, a medical doctor, a clinician, a person who's actually treating the patient, maybe even a nurse, maybe even a paramedic, but somebody who's actually treating the patient must come to you and tell you, look, these are my problems. Can you design something for me? Can you make a product for me? Something. Invariably, it is the other way about. In fact, right now we are in the process of evaluating proposals for COVID, and more than 180 proposals were received in the last 4 weeks for a COVID call, which has nothing to do with COVID at all. I'll just give you 1 or 2 examples. There was one example of an innovator saying that he will record temperature when 10,000 people are gathered, and he will record temperature even through a mask with an accuracy of the 3rd decimal, 98.456 at almost every 10 seconds. Now, as a medical doctor, I'm not interested. I'm not going to make my decision on a diagnosis or even as a screening based only on temperature. Temperature, yes, is important, but temperature by itself has absolutely no meaning whatsoever. So like this, there are hundreds of instances like this. You get an ECG done. Now you get blood pressure recorded. I'm not in, what is the use in having 10,000 BP recordings in 24 hours unless you have a clinician to evaluate it at the other end and to note if this excess of information, if this information overload, application of this information overload, is it going to really make a difference when you apply it in real life, and is it going to alter the clinical outcome? This is the bottom line. So my suggestion is, even at the conceptualization stage, the stage of clinical trial is too late. Nobody is going to give you 50 lakhs, 1 crore and 3 crores unless they are convinced that this has got a clinical application. And the decision whether it has got a clinical application should come from the end user, namely the domain specialist. Now, for example, ventilators. We heard earlier on how there's a tremendous demand for ventilators. BIRAC has got at least 25 proposals for manufacture of ventilators, excellent mathematical equations given, etc. But not a single project has a respiratory physician submitted, or an ICU specialist, or a doctor who is actually using the ventilator. With all respect to the fantastic mechanical engineers who can get PhD after PhD on ventilation, unless there is a medical doctor using ventilators as a co-investigator, we definitely are very wary of funding such a project. So my simple take-home message is that please, whenever you do anything which has got a clinical application, be it a dermoscope, be it a telecolposcope, be it a digital stethoscope. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of, some of which were displayed by Dr. Manish as successful projects, hundreds of them, artificial insemination done at home, etc., etc. Please, please, please have a medical doctor discuss with you, find out what is it that is requested in the real world. Now, I remember Lars Lexell, the inventor of the Gamma knife, that was the world's most sophisticated technology apparatus 50 years ago. He said, and I quote, "A fool with a tool is still a fool." Technology should be a means to achieve an end. It should not be an end by itself. Finally, so far as healthcare is concerned, it is tender loving care. It is still the empathizing with the patient, sympathizing with the patient. Technology should not forget it. There are lots and lots of doctors and patients who are afraid that with all these innovations coming up, robotics, the word artificial intelligence, it is used left and right. Every proposal says artificial intelligence and machine language. You may be able to fool one member of the committee, 3 members of the committee, but not all 17 members of the committee. So please do not use terminology which you are not sure of. AI and ML can be used only when there are thousands and thousands and thousands of data set points, and it's going to be impossible to develop an AI to read a CT chest without a radiology department, without collaboration with a hospital, and you're guaranteed 15,000, 25,000 chest x-rays of clinical trials. The innovator, unfortunately, has no idea of animal experimentation, what all the things, ethics committee, getting ethics job. And it is not fair to expect an electronics engineer to be familiar with this. So please, please involve a clinician familiar with clinical research, even at the stage of conceptualization. I could go on and on, but I understand that time is of the essence. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ganapathy. I mean, really, you put the context straight as saying that innovation has no meaning if it is only for the investor, not for the healthcare professional, or at the end point doesn't meet the end use requirement and so on. Fantastic, Dr. Ganapathy. I'm sure you are setting the context for the next the innovators when they are speaking, they are pitching. You definitely would be a valuable person to suggest to them where they are and how they should go forward and so on. Now, I next call upon Dr. Jitendra Sharma, MD and CEO of Andhra Pradesh Medical Technology Zone, to sort of tell us, I mean, this is the first, India's first medical technology zone. What are the infrastructure facilities at AMTZ that the startup can partner for proof of concept testing, regulatory approvals, and manufacturing? Over to you, Dr. Jiten Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. Sashi. I will request the host to enable my screen sharing application.
Harsh or Kapil?
Sir, we are just giving him rights. 1 second.
Meanwhile, for the benefit of time, I'm not going to take too much time. I'll take less than 3 to 4 minutes. I think we have had a good panel. A large number of our friends and colleagues from industry have spoken their mind. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I got the right.
Yes, sir, you can start.
And of course, FICCI's leadership is always there when it comes to medical technology. Now, the reason why I'm not going to speak too much about facilities is most of you have seen AMTZ. Many of you are part of AMTZ. And AMTZ was a gutsy approach. I remember the chairperson NPPA, who was there for the inauguration of AMTZ on the 13th of December 2018, when she got to know that AMTZ was built in 342 days, she said the word of this zone, the name of this zone should be the audacity of hope, because it is really audacious to do what we did and what we are doing. Now, for the benefit of startups and stakeholders, I am only going to tell that some of the colleagues who spoke this morning, particularly people from National Institute of Design, and those who spoke about the use of design and testing, colleagues from Bell. Now, they have all highlighted one issue, the issue of common facilities reducing the cost and time frame of production. So AMTZ's USP was we have all the laboratories, common facilities that are required for medical devices production. I'm sharing just 2 pictures of AMTZ here. We are a very, very large ecosystem, but these 2 pictures give you a sense of what AMTZ is. Common facilities that are scientific and industrial in nature, right from sheet metal printing to gamma irradiation, packaging to EMI, biomaterial testing to accelerated aging. These are multiple pre-compliance testing, electronics lab, multiple common facilities set up for medical technology sector. A new addition in AMTZ's scope is the component providers, because just testing doesn't help. So now we have actually component providers who manufacture sensors, microcontrollers, etc., also setting up their centers here, so that both components and testing facilities are converged at the point of production, which reduces the cost, which reduces the time frame, and it improves collaboration between industrial partners. My next slide, I have only 3 slides, is a glimpse of some of the facilities. On the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, top corner, you see one of world's largest 3D printing centers. On the left bottom side, you see one of world's largest EMI/EMC center. I'm not sure if there is any center in India for EMI/EMC that can boast of a 40 gigahertz dual mast antenna with 6-ton loading table. I don't think there is a center of this magnitude in India yet. There are EMI/EMC centers, but none of them cross 25 gigahertz. This is a 40 gigahertz dual mast antenna center, which means you can actually reduce the time frame of testing using double antenna. Right from a CT scan to MRI, you can actually bring in goods and test them and drive them out after testing. we are also in very, very advanced stages of setting up superconducting magnet facility for MRI. These are some of the beautiful facilities we have initiated in last 2.5 years. But what is important is, what does AMTZ bring on the table for an innovator in India? Now, it is obviously impractical to imagine that these innovators would all be at AMTZ. They should succeed in what they are doing irrespective of where they are as an innovator. And therefore, what we have done is, having created the infrastructure and the viability and cost effectiveness of such scientific infrastructure for startups and manufacturers at AMTZ, we have now converted them to marketplaces. And that's the real thing I'm going to share my thoughts on today, which is my third and last slide. Now, there are 4 things: 1, a systemic thing, and 3, a process-based elements that a startup needs. Let me start with HTA, which our friends from Soham also mentioned. I started HTA in India in 2012, and eventually now we have an HTA-IN secretariat at ICMR with affiliated institutions across the country. These institutions were trained, and their capacity towards HTA was built by us, with me and my team from the NHSRC at that point of time. And today, Kalam Institute of Health Technology, which is a technology policy unit funded by Government of India at AMTZ, supporting multiple states and multiple ministries in Government of India on various issues related to medical technology, is also an HTA collaborating center of the HTA-IN secretariat at ICMR, analyzing and doing technology assessment of devices and diagnostics. Now, why technology evaluation and assessment is important? It is exactly what Mr. Sashi mentioned in the beginning. When the smart cane comes out in the market by Phoenix and IIT Delhi, now we have this misconception that an innovation should be cheap. It should be inexpensive. It's a wrong misconception, because if an innovation, there are 3 things that make an innovation. It's accessibility. If an innovation improves accessibility. 2, if an innovation improves affordability. And 3, if it improves accuracy or application. Now, these are mutually exclusive things. If an innovation is improving accessibility or accuracy, it need not be necessarily cheaper also. Being affordable, being low cost is one of the features of innovation, not the only feature of innovation. So when a smart cane comes out, people shouldn't think that it is supposed to be cheaper than the white cane, because then we will be doing injustice with the smart cane. And innovation is not supposed to be cheap always. It's supposed to be cost effective. And that cost effectiveness of innovation is measured through HTA, so that we can distinguish between an inexpensive product and a cost effective product. A product can be more expensive than its current competitor in the market and still be an innovation if it is cost effective in terms of outcome. Just imagine an OT light which is 20,000 rupees more but ensures a seamless surgery. And just imagine an OT light which is, say, 5,000 rupees hanging on the roof, blinkering, giving colors, giving shadows, which does not allow a surgeon to perform a successful surgery. Would you necessarily call the cheaper OT light an innovation? I'm sure most of you will respond as no. And therefore, HTA is a tool to distinguish between cost effectiveness and inexpensiveness. It's a tool to distinguish between clinically less effective and clinically more effective product. So HTA is done through Kalam Institute of Health Technology for devices and diagnostics. This second thing, which is good for startups and innovators, is tech transfers. Now, all of us have been talking about tech transfers by creating a cell in our institutions, and we call it tech transfer cell, which most of the times does not end up transferring the technologies. What we have done is we have created an RBI approved e-auction portal on the website of Kalam Institute of Health Technology, the innovators can actually register their technologies free of cost. And it is the industry which bids to buy these technologies. And the bid closes in 60 days. Once the bid closes, the highest award is given to the innovator, which is the highest bidder gets the technology and the funds go to the innovator. It's a marketplace model of technology transfer. Obviously, this marketplace is only a beginning. Like, for example, there are a lot of processes within tech transfer that require physical interaction and stakeholder convergence on many complexities involved with tech transfer. For example, do you transfer outrightly? Do you take royalty? Do you not? Etc. etc. And also a lot of negotiation. But I think it all starts with zeroing in on a partner. And that partner selection, if it is done on highest bid, gets the best value of money for the innovator, which is the Kalam Institute. The second thing which we have done as a marketplace is Tech RX. Tech for technology and RX for doctor's prescription. It's an app today, a marketplace app on Google Play Store. Any component or spare part on medical technology, if you need, you can throw it up here as your need. And it is the manufacturers and suppliers and traders of these spare parts and components who respond to you. So it's actually a connection platform for spare parts and components, not for end products. Because spare parts and components become a huge bottleneck with respect to capability of an innovator to come out with an end product. Now, things that I'm sharing are things that we have already done, not we should be doing as a country. And therefore, anything that you do, you will always be in a constant shape of improvement and value improvisation. So none of these things should be considered or assumed to be perfect, but these are viable, currently existing and being used options. And every time a feedback is given, it shall be incorporated if it fits into the larger scheme of things governing these systems. And therefore, please feel free to download these apps, marketplaces, see what is missing, see what is useful, and let us know. If it is useful, it helps you. If it is something requiring improvement, it helps us and eventually helps you. The third marketplace is Tekola. Now, Tekola has come out simply because AMTZ has a bunch of high-value scientific facilities that can be used and are being used by innovators and enterprises. What about somebody in Jammu? What about somebody in Mizoram? What about somebody in Meerut? What about somebody in Murshidabad? What about somebody in Dadar Nagar Haveli? Now, they all may not have the ability or the time or the capacity to come all the way to AMTZ to use these facilities. But some of these facilities, if not all, exist in various parts of the country. For example, one of the best chemical engineering setups is actually in Amul in Anand, because they do a lot of chemical analysis for milk and milk products. Some of the best engineering systems might be in Samir. Some of the best telecom systems might be in Webel in Kolkata. And these sector agnostic infrastructures which can be applied for medical technology can be used by innovators provided they know what is available, at what cost it is available. So what we have done, like Swiggy, we have created a marketplace called Tekola, in which hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of facilities sanctioned by BIRAC, DBT, DST, DHR, DSIR, CSIR, IICT, and so on and so forth, including private sector facilities. They can actually register here for free, like restaurants with their menu. With the menu giving the list of machinery, list of tests, and the cost. And the innovators, depending upon their location, can actually know what is available nearest to them, what is the facility of scientific nature that they need, which is available at a certain distance, at a certain cost, in a certain region or state. So what we have done is, we have now gone from the, we have taken a step forward from an infrastructure like AMTZ, measuring and enhancing its utility. Now we have created virtual platforms connecting infrastructures like AMTZ, even if they are not as large and humongous as AMTZ, but as novel and as precise as AMTZ across the country on these marketplaces. technology transfer for researchers, innovators, startups and industry, TechRx for innovators in industry to get hold of the spare parts and components, and Techola to help innovators, startups and enterprises get access to facilities. All I'm saying is we have to deinstitutionalize medical technology. We have to democratize medical technology manufacturing. And the only way to do it is to Uberize these models, go on marketplace models, converge the suppliers, the demand and the supply, so that marketplaces supported by infrastructure run the show, not the institutions alone. So with that, over to you back, Mr. Sachi. Thank you for this opportunity. Always a pleasure to see all of you, our good friends and colleagues on the same panel. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Dr. Jitesh Sharma. I mean, it is very useful. I'm sure the making everything available like what you said in an Ola platform or Uber platform, and making sure every innovator need not run around for either be tech transfer or for what is it, component sourcing, or for, as what you said, the labs. I mean, fantastic. That's a fantastic way. Instead of just making everyone come to you, you're making them go to different places. Fantastic. That's a very, very good idea. With that, we sort of close this panel discussion. But of course, there is question and answer. If anyone has questions, they can put it forward. I don't see any questions at the moment. Harsh or Kapil, are there any questions? Or we should move to the next discussion.
Sir, I think we can move to the presentations by innovators now.
So I would encourage all the panelists to listen to the to whatever the innovators are going to be putting across, and give them suggestions which they can make the innovation better or take it to the market in a better way. Thank you. Over to you, Shyam.
Thank you, Shashi, and thank you, FICCI, for giving this opportunity. So now that we have heard these eminent people, what they are doing, and it's a pleasure for me to have such an eminent panel. And now we will ask a few of our innovators to pitch in, and we have selected these innovators based on certain criteria that some of them are in the idea to POC, some are from POC to commercialization, and some are from commercialization to scale up. And what we request you all, the eminent panelists, to give your suggestions and feedback. It is more like a reality show, I would say, rather than a pitching session. So not to lose much time, each of the innovator has, or I would say startup, has 3 minutes to present, and then we have 5 minutes of sort of Q&A, I would say, regarding related to that startup. So we will start with the first one, that is 5M Health Boost. It will be presented by David. My friend Harsh will run the presentation, and then once the presentation is over, I would request the panel to guide them or suggest or challenge them on what is that they can do to take it to the next level. Thank you. Yeah, Harsh. Can you take 5M Health Boost? David?
Yeah.
Can you please present?
Good afternoon, everybody. David Eshkol here. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much. It was a very enlightening 1 hour of talks by different eminent personalities on the first session. My name is David Eshkol, and I'm based out of Hyderabad. I'm an innovator of a very unique technology which I have named as 5M Health Boost, an anti-COVID innovation. May I have the next slide, please? Now, this is the synopsis. The summary of the invention tells you a lot. It is a breathing gas system. That means you can connect my machine to the respiratory tract of a human through a simple nebulizer mask. And now going forward, this is the need of the hour. What is needed is reduction of inflammation in the nasal passages, reduction of free radicals, reduction of fever, and better gas exchange between the alveoli and the bloodstream, and improvisation of oxygen level in the blood is the need of the hour. And this is where my system comes in. It's a standalone system, connects to the nose of a COVID positive patient, and you have different time intervals to set in my machine to do the job. Can we have the next slide, please? Problem with the COVID positive patient is this. If you look at the slide on the left side on the top, and if you look at the description on the bottom, large amount of viscous mucus formation. This is what is actually affecting the gas exchange, and slowly the patient is going to a cellular death, and then later into a multi-organ failure, and finally it is resulting in death. Next slide, please. Now, being that the case of the problem, what is 5M Health Boost? It is an idea that I have developed over and above my 5M mileage boost system. I'm into 5M mileage boost system for the past 4 to 5 years, and thus far about 6,000 vehicles have been processed using my system. And during the COVID lockdown, I got the inspiration to do something better than what I'm doing now. And so it is kind of a incremental innovation to what I'm doing. If you look at the point one, it is a proprietary non-invasive healing gas system. It has got non-toxic compounds going into the body, helps reduce viscous mucus, and later the mucus is metabolized by the body. Now, if you look at the last point, the fifth point, it aids in O2 and CO2 gas exchange in lungs and improves oxygen levels in the blood. If you look at the left side, the news article where it says engineer innovates tool for COVID care. So that is my innovation. It has been published in the newspapers. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is the business model go-to-market strategy. I've done this on myself, my wife, my 2 kids, and I've put this here based on what I have gone through. So asymptomatic patient can take this breathing therapy or inhalation therapy for 30 minutes a day at the rate of 1,500 rupees for one single inhalation. Symptomatic patients can have it for 60 minutes, that is 1 hour, 3,000 per day, and acute cases can go for 6 hours therapy in a day at the rate of 18,000 per day. And that's the costing of the business. And I'm open to discuss about franchisee operations and franchisee models with the whoever is interested in this platform. Next slide, please. This is my ask. I'm deeply moved, actually. The way Corona has crippled our country and the whole world really saddens me. I'm privileged to have this technology platform in my hand, where I tweaked my 5M mileage boost system to work as a 5M health boost system by reinventing and doing a little bit of reverse engineering, forward engineering. And what I'm looking for is in the last para. You can go through that. I'm looking for animal testing, in vitro testing, clinical trials, validations, and subsequently we can scale up on a war footing basis. I mean, all the other bodies like DBT, DCA, ICMR, AIMS, and CCMB, we need their cooperation. As the previous presenters mentioned, that there's a lot of bottlenecks that needs to be crossed. So I'm looking for that kind of help. That is my ask. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, this is a very big statement I'm making. As a country, now we can fight back the effects of COVID-19 on humans. The healthcare workers, I feel they are fighting a losing battle by using anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and anticoagulant medications and drugs, which are mandated, which are on the protocol. But 5M Health Boost is a boon. It can give a capable tool in the hands of medics, in the hands of paramedics to handle this situation. So that's my offer, and you can look at the slide number 5 for business case, return on investment, etc. Thank you so much. That's my presentation.
So thank you. So let's maybe we should see that how what is that you see as a requirement at this point in time from the panelists who had presented their one. Is there a need for an HTA at this stage, or is this going to be an alternate technique to detect COVID, or how can this be promoted?
HTA is one route, sir, as you mentioned, but I slightly feel a bit more confident because I have applied it onto my family. So we could look at HTA parallelly. We can look at all other bodies parallelly, but currently what I'm looking at is third-party verification, third-party trials, and there's a protocol to follow. So we need to do that. Me as an individual innovator, I'm very enthusiastic and curious to go forward, but I need a collaborative effort. What I'm looking at the observations right now is that Odisha itself has got about 73 strains of viruses under COVID. So vaccines are being developed. I see no vaccine could work on all the 73 strains or the thousands of strains that are going to come up as the RNA virus keeps on mutating to another level at a genomic level. So, plasma transfusion therapy, I observed that it is giving about 30 to 34% of results. Rest it is failing. Now, today morning, it surprised me. Our vice president, honorable vice president, is tested positive with asymptomatic symptoms. So here we are facing a war, in the middle of a war. We need arms and ammunition, and my technology, 5M Health Boost, can serve as a tool, as an arm and an ammunition to combat COVID. So that's my say.
Thank you. So we'll take it up with the other panelists also if there is any question.
Yeah, this is Sashi. I just wanted to check if this has been used in a hospital. That's very important. Okay, you're used to it yourself, but has it gone into any hospital or?
Thanks, Mr. Sashi, for your question. It has not gone to a hospital. Lockdown has put me into many limitations all these days. Me as an innovator have been tinkering and doing things, but I'm looking for some hospitals in Hyderabad to invite me to come and give my presentations and deliberations, and then take it to a situation where we can do a pilot.
Yeah, that's true. But then because this is an inhalation kind of a gas, it definitely needs a drug approval. I'm sure that you applied.
Yes, that is why I mentioned DCA, Drug Control Authority, in my request, in my ask. So we need to parallelly do that.
Okay. Right. You have to approach them because that's a very important stuff for getting this going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm open to cooperations and collaborations in that direction.
Okay.
Any more questions from others?
Excellent. Thank you. And let us move to the next presentation by Amish Tech, Anish Karma.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, you can see your slides.
Thank you so much for giving valuable information on the 1 hour session. Hello, my name is Akash Singh. I am presenting this slide on the behalf of Anish Karma. So, knee ankle foot prosthesis. It is we have made a gap between. We have made a specific cafe, which fill up the gap between the Jaipur foot orthosis and the pneumatic of orthosis with the product prices, also putting all the features which are lacking from the Jaipur foot orthosis. So we focused on to make a Meshek capo, which is an automatically unlocking or locking of the knee joint according to the stance and the swing pace. You can see on the slide there is shown that on the walking the mechanism unlock itself, automatically unlock itself, and on the when the foot is on the ground, when the foot is on the ground, it lock itself. So you can see it can be used as using a cycling, or you can use and means like a day-to-day life courses. Mm, uh, our Mesocafu uniqueness is it provides a lower limb stabilities. It is a mechanical stability, lightweight, less for use, footwear compatibility, 135-degree flexion. In the others, cafe like Jaipur foot is only bent up to 90-degree angles. So it cannot goes to 135-degree angle. That is a human, means nearly human squatting. Cost effective. We can get in a very cost effective manner. Please, can you go to the next slide? Our business model. We actually made our business model that on the first 4 months we have a make of 16-month business model. Regulatory approach. We have make approvals that the people who are working, who have to means you have to give a consent form. You have to fill up this form to try our Meshek cafe. There is a lot of
Make it a
procedure.
little fast. I think your time is
There is
getting over.
Okay, there is a lot of procedure have to be done. Manufacturing and the product. So can you go to the next slide? Hello. This is our team member and the advisor, Mr. Professor B. Raviji, Rupesh Gair, and Samit Desai. These are the person they are advising us and mentoring our project. And also there is a piano expert Neha Kumare, which are helping us to find out patient who wants to trial our Meshek capo. Thank you. Next slide, please. These are the supportive partners who are helping in our project and providing the option for the trials. Thank you so much. Any question regarding manufacturing aspects? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
So you had a want on manufacturing side?
Yeah, you can ask on the means I'm working on the manufacturing aspects. So like if you have any questions on manufacturing, or you can guide on the manufacturing aspect, like how can I make more and more assemblies or anything which is valuable for us, or to make this Meshek cafe easier and provide to people.
Certainly, you have seen that there is the fantastic facility at EMTZ where you have this common infrastructure which can be used for various manufacturing parts, and also you have also an open offer from BEL. If you want to manufacture some things there, you could get in touch with them, and they are very much interested. So those are some things. But what is your go-to-market strategy?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry. Can I ask the question again?
Yeah. What is your go-to-market strategy? Hello. Can you hear me?
Actually, I'm having a hard time to hear you. Sorry. What is our go to market strategy, right? You are asking about that.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, we are hoping to see like we are providing we are actually making our own assemblies, like providing our all the facilities, like we are making our own mechanisms, Mesec Capo, and we are trying to find out the people who wanted this Mesec Capo. Okay, means the people who wanted to try this Mesec Capo. We also collaborated with the government organization, NGOs, iron cities, and many more. You can say many more organization is come forward, who can help to give a um, have, uh, hello.
Harsh, has Sham dropped off?
Hello.
Ma'am, we cannot hear.
Shashi, can you come in? I think Sham has.
Yeah, Sham has dropped out.
Yeah, back. Yeah.
Yeah, Sham is back. Sham is back. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we can move to the next speaker.
Yes, we can move to the next one. That is Auto Yours. Dr. Bharat Kumar, can you get started?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bharat Kumar Hegde from Autoyos Private Limited, Bangalore. Can you have the next slide, please? Yeah, we are a healthcare company, and we are primarily focusing on developing autonomous systems for the healthcare need. And during the lockdown, we identified that we could repurpose the technology what we were working earlier in the eye care segment to meet the current demand in the pandemic situation and the beyond. So that's how we started working on AI thermal screening system, and also to provide it as a tool, to a comprehensive tool to manage a facility. So including a setting like hospitals. So that was the kind of opportunity we wanted to take in. And yeah, I'll be able to please can you please have the next slide, please? Yeah, so the problem here we are targeting is the risk and the inefficiency. So currently, with respect to the thermal screening at different settings, so currently most of the people, keeping the pandemic situation in mind, want to make sure that nobody is having one of the symptoms of COVID, that is the elevated body temperature. The current systems or methods being used mostly are like the non-contact temperature measurement, where it is mostly through a thermal gun. So where we need to have a manpower, have a human being measuring our temperature, being in a very close distance. So that usually is lesser than the guidelines of around 2 meters. So that is one major issue we've identified, and the other is to have the accountability of the staff and the crowd management. So right now, before the pandemic, so most of the facilities were using the fingerprint-based biometric system. So that again, for this COVID-19 situation, that again poses the risk of spreading the infection, being a contact device. So to address these issues and to bring the efficiency, so if, for example, in a hospital or in a setting like a manufacturing industry, so there are like hundreds of people coming in daily and working there, right? So measuring the temperature of each one of them can take every measurement can take like 5 to 10 seconds. So that again will reflect in the loss of productivity. So that leading to the inefficient workflow. So identify these problems, we came up with this solution. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, so our innovation is called Tapa scan. So it can measure the temperature from a distance up to 3 meters with a tested accuracy of plus or minus 0.3 degrees Celsius. And along with that, it has the employee attendance systems, so which makes it more relevant for the COVID-19 situation and beyond. It is not just for the COVID-19 or such pandemic situation. So it's again we as a company focusing on autonomous systems. So it's again a completely autonomous systems which will give the audio and visual indications on different parameters as per the requirement in terms of the elevated body temperature or being recognizing the staff or the visitor and segregating that. And it is being a very quick and non-invasive method of screening, so it will ensure the efficiency in the workflow. And it is all the data is uploaded in real time, and the management or the HR personnel who are taking care of these systems, like in terms of the attendance and or the overall management. For example, in hospitals, can be the hospital management system. They can have a real-time dashboard, like which will be displaying all the numbers and other statistics in real time. Yeah, can you have the next slide, please? Yeah, for example, so right now we have developed this, and we have a few installations in corporate offices and factory settings, and in government settings already in Bangalore, and we are also delivering a few more in Chennai. So we have just started in terms of the sales. So for a hospital scenario, it can be a very good tool for the overall management, where it can be used for the staff screening and attendance without being without being in a risk of getting infected or being very close to each other, and a much more effective system, because there is no one is required, so the system can automatically recognize the faces, and that can be the part of attendance management systems, and the patient and visitor screening, because the hospitals has to ensure the safety of the staff and the visitor or the patients while they are entering to the hospitals. So this can also be integrated to third-party system. For example, the patient registration. So the registration can happen just before entering the hospital. So there they can avoid a lot of interactions with the staff. And
speed up a little.
Yeah. So yeah, can you have the next slide, please? Yeah, this is the current business model we are following. We are reaching to different settings through the distributor channels for the sale of product, and we are offering the services on a recurring payment basis for the attendance management, and also the advanced features like the pose estimation and behavioral studies of the visitors and the employees, through various platforms in the desktop and also the mobile platforms. Next slide, please. Yeah, currently in terms of financial support, we are looking for 60 lakh rupees of support that will be used for the marketing, productions, and basically to scale up the business. And also we would like to we welcome any kind of partnership from the corporate players or the manufacturing facilities, which can help us to speed up and scale up much faster. And keeping in mind that this is a solution not just for COVID, and this is going to be a growing demand for most of the facilities and setups in the new normal. And we have made the business model and the pricing, the overall design to be more attractive and ensuring the quick return on investment. For any other details, anyone can contact me at the given email address and the contact number.
Thank you,
Thank
Bharat.
you very much.
Thank you. Any questions from the panelists? My immediate reaction to this is, what are the other models you are looking at? Have you, because this being for COVID and also it has to be scaled faster, there may be more number of people who may be interested in licensing the technology. In which case,
the one-time technology transfer is also we are open for that model itself, because of their current market access and the national and global presence.
All these
Sorry.
Shobha, your mic is.
Yeah, sorry.
I think you can contact Dr. Jitendra Sharma's office and see, the techs are what they had explained.
Yes, sir, I have noted down.
Actually,
Shyam, I have one question. Is this a unique product? Because are there any other, startups or other companies who have come up with such a?
Yeah. So it is unique in the sense that we are using a low-cost thermal camera module. And by using that, on top of that, we are running our AI algorithms on more than like 50,000. Yeah, the 50,000 more than large number of data sets, and analyzing the whole profile of the thermal image we are getting in the real time, and thereby predicting the accurate temperature. So that is the innovativeness in this. And in terms of the usability, it is the much larger measurement distance and the flexibility for the users, like in terms of, for example, one need not align themselves to a certain pattern or this kind of structures where there are some other competitive products are there. And also we are playing it very competitive in terms of the price.
But also I see that you also had face recognition for biometric.
Yeah, so that gives us a lot of opportunity in the future, like with the advanced features like the behavioral estimation and pose estimations and all these things. So that gives the additional advantage when it comes to managing a large setting, or for the multinationals to in terms of the human resource management, and that can help a lot in taking the proper decisions.
Bharat, have you tried out reaching out to Shanti Mohan of Less Ventures for your investment?
No, not it.
Maybe
I'll
that's something
definitely.
you could try out. Yeah. And if
sure.
you need any recommendation, I'll be happy to do that.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you, Bharat. And
thank you, FICCI, for giving this wonderful opportunity, and it was an amazing panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Shyam, I have a comment in here. Like, I just wanted to give a suggestion, in fact.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, Bharat, like, I understand that you very well presented the concept and very pertinent problem that you're solving. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we're losing you.
Can you? Hello. Can you?
Yeah, Nitin,
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nitin.
Now it should be better. So my the value proposition that so the value proposition is something very important, right? Office environment where
Nitin, I'm not able to hear you.
Where somebody has to use it, but I would say customer, and also the value also the validation that you are saying, that the distance and the accuracy and the way it can be handled better at a lower cost. I guess those can be the USPs that you need to really present.
Yeah.
Right.
Nitin, again,
We need to invest a bit more on the digital. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's what like my quick suggestion would be. But yeah,
Sure.
all the best with your.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nitin.
Sure.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
So let's
Thank
go
you,
to the
everyone.
next innovator. This is IU Device Private Limited, Mr. Vishesh Sinha.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I am Adarsh, the founder of IU Devices. We are a startup spun out of Betic Lab in IIT Bombay, and currently we're incubated in SIGN, which is a business incubator at IIT, and we are supported by BIRAC, DST, as well as FICCI. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yeah, so before COVID-19, we were making digital stethoscopes for amplification, recording, sharing of heart and lung sounds, and also for telemedicine applications. And when COVID-19 came in, things changed a lot. So a lot of our existing doctors, they called us and they asked that whether they can use the device to listen to the heart and lung sounds in PPEs or by keeping a safe distance from the patient. So this was the input we got from the doctors. And with those inputs, we worked on the hardware of Bluetooth. And you can see the first picture I've highlighted in the circle. So we developed that module so that the Bluetooth signal can be enhanced and it is not depending on the mobile Bluetooth. And with this, the distance also increased. The Bluetooth is much better. There is no drop in the audio. And this enabled for the doctor to listen to the heart and lung sounds within PPEs, as well as keeping safe distance from the patient. So this case mainly, came in when a senior pulmonologist, who is more having a high risk of COVID-19, was having a safe distance, and a resident or someone who is younger, he will be at the PPE and he will go near the patient. That was the specific use case. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is how it's been used in real case. In the first 3 images, if you see, mother is placing the chest piece on the child, and doctor is having a distance. And you can see he cannot use a normal stethoscope because his ears are covered. So what he is doing is he's using the earphone, and through our app he is listening to the sounds. And even if you see a pregnant woman, she is also doing a similar kind of auscultation. And in the third image as well, again a mother is placing, and doctor is on the keeping safe distance. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So this image, if you see, there is something missing in this. That is, people are not wearing mask because this image is of 2019. So that's the reason you don't see people wearing mask in this. So this is mainly multiple telemedicine companies who are using our device. Like YOLO Health, Health ATM, A3 Remote, CardioTrack, multiple of these companies in insurance space as well. So this is the devices deployed in real areas. Next slide, please, sir. Yeah, so we have a patent published in more than 60 countries. In US and Singapore, it is in the final stage of getting the grant, and more than 1,800 units are sold. We're getting very positive response from the doctors as well as the telemedicine companies who are integrating our solution. Next slide, please, sir. Yeah, so why do we need this? Doctors, even though they have PPEs, they need to listen to the heart and lung sounds, mainly pulmonologists and chest physicians, which is not possible with conventional stethoscope. And with our device, we made it possible. And the second thing is, it's not like we are the first digital stethoscope manufacturers in the world. There are multiple of those. Even you have, like a device called 3M, from a company called 3M. They are selling it at somewhere around 65,000 rupees. The main difference is those are designed in keeping in mind of a quiet background of OPDs or the hospital setups, which is not the case in India. So we have developed a lot of algorithms which reduces this background noise and makes it possible to use in real scenario in India. So that is a main USP that we have. And also we have APKs and APIs readily integratable to any telemedicine companies in Android and even in iOS as well as in cloud. So this is what so far we have done. And mainly the ask for us is we want to let all doctors and hospitals know that such an innovation made in India exists, and any channel or anything will be open for that. Any CSR support or NGO support will be very much looking forward for that. And also many of the panels in this are aware of this project. So Dr. Manish Diwan from BIRAC supported from the beginning. Even Dr. Sham sir also, we have seen this a couple of years ago. So I would like to thank all the stakeholders and supporters for this project. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
That's good. Thank you. And one of the best ways to also take it to the market is through the HTA, because these are a little different from the way the normal measurements would be done. So as there is a change in behavior, how well it gets adapted is something which only the DHR HTA or the Kalam Institute can be very, very helpful, I feel. And the other thing is also that I had seen in the list what BEL Ravindranath had put. He had some one for these things also. So maybe you could contact Ravindranath for any support on manufacturing and scale up.
Okay, thank you, sir. So for scaling up now, we have partnered with Vinyas, in Mysore for scaling up. And even I think we had that in a discussion a couple of years ago with you as well. So you had suggested they're one of the best manufacturers you had mentioned.
Thank you, thank you. So that's I think HTA is very important for this, because there's a change in the way the medical fraternity was doing things, and now there's a little bit of change. So that sort of a thing, how well it gets adapted, is very important in that. So any other questions? So thank you. If there are no more questions, let us go to the next one. That is Cardia Labs and Cardia Biomedical Technology, Mr. Abhinav.
Hi, good morning to all of you. I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes, Abhinav, to present your...
Come again, sir?
You have 3 minutes
okay.
to present. So it gives us some time to discuss after that.
So good afternoon to one and all. Thank you for this opportunity. I represent a company called Cardia Labs, and I'm here to talk about our flagship product called Atom ECG, which is has been creating quite a wave in some recent times as well. Can you go to the next slide? We'll start talking about it. So Cardia Labs basically is a company which focuses on wearable and portable devices, where Atom ECG is the device which is supported by BIRAC, Bark and Wish Foundation. And this was, I mean, we have got quite some awards for this as well. This is basically a complete 12-lead ECG on the mobile phone. So over the recent times with the telemedicine and other things picking up the pace, 12-lead ECG is definitely something on the mobile phone, which is going to be assisting and has been helping people to perform telemedicine applications, so on and so forth. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Harsh.
Yeah, so the traditional, like the traditional ECG machines are known to be paper-based, bulky, non-portable, and they have got heavy leads And of course, the patient will have to physically get the ECG done at a place and then carry the paper-based report to the doctor. So, and obviously the machines are obviously on the expensive side. So these are some of the existing challenges with the traditional machines, which we have been trying to solve for quite some time. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so ATOM is basically a complete true 12-lead ECG system, which talks about getting all the data simultaneously. Let me again put it up, simultaneous data acquisition. And then this data can be sent immediately to a doctor for clinical intervention. We also have got an in-house set of doctors who will be doing the analysis in case if you need one. And then, like I said, there are 32 innovative features that we have added on top of the system to make it completely unique product. And as and when we want to be the face of ECG, not only in India, but also on the global scale, because whatever problems has been existing with the ECG system, we have actually addressed them to the point to be a truly global innovation. Next slide, please. So our business model has been very simple. We manufacture, we sell, again, use the funds for manufacturing further and selling more. In addition to it, because we are also giving the service for doing the ECG interpretation, so obviously that model also works for us, where we have a pay-per-use model for the interpretation. Next slide, please. This is basically an important slide. I just wanted to share that the President of India is also one of our honorable users of the device for obvious reasons. Earlier, what used to happen is like the data which was being recorded from the Rashtrapati Bhavan was physically carried to AIIMS. But after ATOM, now what is going on is that the ECG is recorded there at the Rashtrapati Bhavan and immediately sent to a doctor over there at AIIMS, and then he tells whether everything is okay or what is to be done next. Next slide, please. I have just a few more images to share with you. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so these are few of the images of ATOM being used at various peripheral centers, at the various primary health centers at several locations. For example, the extreme left is the one where we have the Jan Swasthya Sahyog in Bilaspur, one of the remotest of areas where like there is not even proper electricity that you get there for more than 2 hours in the whole day. And the number of patients that they address is around 500 per day. So even for them, this ATOM ECG has been proven to be a bliss. Then here, through BIRAC and Wish Foundation joint collaborative venture, joint collaboration, this ATOM ECG was taken to, I think, 10 primary health centers where the health workers were doing the ECG and the data was sent over to our analysis lab where we were helping the patients, the lives were being saved. So same is there with the extreme right as well. So next slide, please. Most of the PHCs, once they have an access to ATOM ECG, they always go for it. One of the most unique features I would like to point out today, and I would be happy and proud to announce it today on the FICCI platform, that this is one of the dream things for us that we wanted to come up with, was to make like ECG accessible at every home. Now, the problem with, if you look at the current model, there is a product from America where they have, the name of it is called AliveCore. So in AliveCore, what they are doing is that just by doing the ECG, the touch, you can get up to 6-lead ECG, and they are creating quite a rave in the domestic market and international market as well. Now, when I spoke to them, they said that the real challenge which comes with 12-lead ECG is about placement of electrodes. And the placement of electrodes, especially on the chest electrodes, is always a challenge. Now here, what we have been working on for quite some time is that we wanted to make sure that anyone, anywhere, we should be able to place the electrodes with the clinical precision every time. And this we have been able to achieve using artificial intelligence as well as with augmented reality. And here, all you need to do is to point the camera of your phone to the user, and the app itself will pinpoint which electrode goes where. This is the world's first electrode placement guidance system, which is patented by Cardia Labs. And we hope that this is one of the things which will change the way ECG is performed at home. So next slide, please. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So yeah, just previous, yes, thank you. So my main point being that we are looking for strategic partners to help reach out Atom to the stakeholders in India and especially the Southeast Asian countries. Definitely, there has been quite a requirement that has come from the pharma sector, and this image is one of the companies who is selling drugs to the pharmaceutical life-saving drugs, especially with people who get cardiac heart attacks. So they needed a reliable ECG machine which can, like confirm whether or not the person is getting an attack. So this company called MQ Pharmaceuticals, we have a collaboration with them where the devices from us is exported to Africa, where the device is being used. And if in case if there is an attack, they inject their drug and the life of the patient is saved. In addition to it, because ECG is such a vital technology, I mean, I feel that, every home should have it. And that's the aim and vision with which we are working on. So we'll be happy to assist, support, and help in like working with the right stakeholders to take it out to the market. We already have quite a few distribution channel with us, but we are looking forward to having more of them to scale it up at a much larger, especially on an international platform. So that's what we are looking for. Next slide, please. And that's my ending slide. So this is my phone number and also my WhatsApp number as well. My name is Abhinav. I am the MD of the company, and will be happy to collaborate with all of you to take this innovation to a truly global level. Thank you so much.
Very good, Abhinav. Nice to see
Shyam,
you.
can I come in?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, so Abhinav, you can write into Harsh, and we will connect you to our pharma colleague Praveen Mittal. So through him, you can get connected to all the pharma companies in India, whoever are interested, as well as also to the international pharma companies, because I mean, of course, MNCs who are here, and if you want to reach out to Southeast Asia, because we do this pharma conference, every year, where there is a lot of interaction with international buyers also. So maybe Praveen will be able to help you. So
thank you so much, Shubha ma'am. You have been an inspiration to all of us. I'll be happy to. How do I contact with Mr. Praveen, sir?
Harsh will connect you. Harsh and Kapil who are here. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, Shyam, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so I see that you have got a good. You have been there in this one for some time now and understood the market. So where do you think you can scale up? How do you think you would like to scale up? Of course, going through partnerships is maybe the best. And what is your what do you say roadmap for that?
Okay, so the way as I have seen it is very simple, that ECG is a universal problem and it's not just restraining ourselves to India. And in addition to it, we have got quite a few interest coming in from US market and especially from Singapore as well. I also addressed this particular point that the most important bottleneck for the devices to reach at every home, like home healthcare. If you look at the current Indian market of home healthcare or even the international market, that is limited to single lead, 3 lead, or maximum 6 lead. And one of the biggest reason of that happening is especially the chest lead electrode placement system, which people are not confident or not very clear about. And that's a ground reality, which we faced. And it was, this is actually the problem. And this is exactly the reason why we were working on this particular technology, which we have been able to crack. And like I said, I'm announcing it today outright that this is now available with us. Now, our roadmap is very simple. We want to directly jump into an FDA. We would like to get an FDA done. And through strategic partners, we would like to enter into the US market and take it to the next global level. We have got certain inputs on our device, definitely, and to suit it for an international market, obviously there are some iterations that needs to be done, but those are very minor ones, should take hardly 15 days of time. So we continue to improvise upon our technology, but at the same time, we are also going to be selling the devices, especially targeting the home healthcare segment, of the likes of Dr. Lal Path Labs, of the likes of Max and other ones who go to and perform home health care. And that's something that I would be happy to collaborate and look forward for support from FICCI to help us connect with those kind of stakeholders. That's something I'm looking for. And I'm also looking for distributors. That's a very important thing. I also need, I'm sorry to being, like sounding greedy, but that's how entrepreneurship has to work. But I definitely need a platform to literally shout from the top of my lungs that this is a state-of-the-art technology, which would be India's first, that can go to a global level. So we need a platform to showcase Atom ECG, show that this is a ground-changing technology, and all the other players who are already there, whatever features they are having and whatever problems they are facing, we have already addressed it. So we are at the top, and our team of R&D is continuously improving upon the devices as we get. So yeah, that's how we are going to, that's our roadmap. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Abhinav. We'll try to connect you. Already Shobha has offered you the support to connect with pharma, and I will connect you with some big players who are offering telecardiology services in telemedicine.
All right. I appreciate your help, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So can we go to the next one, that is EHE Innovations, Mr. Shailendra?
Good afternoon, everyone. So this is Shailendra representing EHE Innovations. So we are a startup, Bangalore-based startup. We are focusing on developing healthcare solutions and also developing medical devices for point of care, healthcare, that is focusing more on preventive healthcare. And this is one solution that we are trying, which we have developed, a remote health monitoring solution, which is not just for COVID, but for beyond COVID as well. So next slide, please. So our innovation here is a wearable device, which you can see on the middle of the slide, which we have developed, and a prototype of 15 numbers of prototype of this device has been developed. This is a temperature as well as an SpO2 measuring device, which is operated on, which is Bluetooth enabled, and then it is connected to a cloud platform through an app, and a patient can wear that and remain himself isolated, so that he does not get in touch with anybody. So neither the clinicians nor do his immediate family members or the general public will get in touch with him. So he remains isolated. That way the spread of infection is completely avoided. And this will be a very good need for this hour, because we see that there's such a huge spike in the COVID cases, and people are nowadays preferring home quarantine. So our solution is ideally placed to address the market situation right now, and that's how we have gone ahead, bootstrapped ourselves, and developed the first set of 15 prototypes. And the way we have designed this solution is, it has this wearable, apart from that an app, and also a healthcare cloud-based platform, which work in unison to deliver this solution and ensure that all the stakeholders are benefited, that is the patient, the doctor and the hospital, the overall community, and also the health authorities who are trying to control the pandemic. So the patient gets benefited because he stays at home, he gets the comfort of his home, he gets the support of his family members, and he can isolate himself by just wearing this device and then getting this app downloaded on his phone. He is connected to a clinician 24/7. And in case the parameters go out of limit, he is immediately, alerts are generated and sent to the doctors who can get in touch with him. And also the doctors need not have to get in touch with the patient. So this app is downloaded automatically on his phone, on the patient's phone, and it starts sending readings on a regular basis, which can be programmed. And also it ensures that the quarantine guidelines are met, because we have a geofencing feature which ensures that the patient doesn't move out more than 10 meters from the area that he's supposed to be isolated in. And we also have a facility of providing reports on a regular basis to the health authorities, so that they have complete information about the number of people quarantined at home and how they are doing. And also the doctors in the hospitals will have continuous access to his medical record, so that the care given and the quality of care given to the patient will be really good, even though he is at home. So the uniqueness of this whole solution is it being an end-to-end solution, which is helping all the stakeholders by measuring the critical parameters. As we know today, temperature and SpO2 are the two critical parameters which are required for monitoring a COVID patient who is at home. Next slide, please. So here the basic problem, as I've already mentioned to you, is the COVID, as we all know, is highly infectious, and there is no really known cure for it. The only thing that can be done in order to ensure that it does not spread is, it doesn't put too much load on the public health infrastructure, and also the private healthcare system, because of its expense, may not be really, suitable for a common man. So this is the opportunity that we see, because we see that 80% of the cases are either asymptomatic or with very mild COVID symptoms, and this do not require hospitalization. So which means that the patient can, 80% of the COVID infected patients can remain at home, quarantine themselves at home, and if they are isolated and they are regularly monitored, then COVID can be managed with the least expense to the patient who is already stressed and would be under a big stress if he is required to go to a hospital and pay a lot of expenses out of his pocket. Instead, he can prefer our home quarantine solution by just buying this device and enlisting with the hospital. At a fraction of the cost of hospitalization, he can get complete care for all the 14 days of his quarantine period. He can talk to the doctor because he can initiate calls from his app. Both the doctor as well as the patient can initiate calls from their app and ensure that the patient does not have to get anxious if his parameters go out of limits. He will have somebody who is at his call if in case he has an issue, and he will immediately be attended to. So this is a big opportunity that we see, and our product is ideally placed given the current situation of COVID. Next slide, please. So ours is a end-to-end solution. The uniqueness being that it is an end-to-end solution. We have a wearable device, and we have an app which connects with the wearable device, and we also have a health data platform which is helping in ensuring that the acquired data is stored, analyzed, and all the required alerts are generated on a timely basis for the clinicians to ensure that the patient is attended to at just the right time. Now, the big advantage that we see here is for the hospitals, they just have to enroll the patients for a program like this, and then if the patient is provided with our solution and the app is downloaded, the complete monitoring and reporting aspects is taken care of by us, and with the alerts that are generated, immediately a nurse or a doctor can get in touch with the patient, find out and counsel the patient, and make sure that his anxiety is immediately addressed to, and that way even the patient will have visibility on his own health status, and he can ensure that he is confident all the time, because being mentally strong while you're infected with COVID is one of the important aspects of ensuring that the person is getting cured quickly. And the biggest advantage that we see here is there is no risk of infection for any of the stakeholders here. Neither the doctor, the nurse, he doesn't have to go to the hospital, and even the family members.
Speed up.
He's isolated. He's free from infection. So that way, this is a good value proposition for patient as well as all the other stakeholders. Next slide, please. So our current offering is, we plan to offer this as a wearable device with the app for people who already have a hospital management system. And if somebody is not having a hospital management system, we can offer the cloud services as well. And our go-to-market strategy is, we are targeting two major segments. One is the hospitals, and we are targeting the small and medium-sized hospitals in tier 1 and tier 2 cities. And the biggest advantage for these hospitals is they can have a small team of nurses and doctors, and then can enroll patients and ensure that they manage these patients without putting too much load on the hospital. and that saves cost for them. And we also are working with NGOs who primarily have healthcare facilities themselves. So we will target these NGOs and ensure that they are able to enroll patients who can buy this solution of ours. And even in the rural areas, because the spread of COVID has been rapid in rural population as well. So our solution is ideally suited to be delivered to the rural segment as well. Next slide, please.
Is this your last slide?
Yes. Currently, we have already developed the prototype, and only the molding tools and the workflow software has to be fine-tuned a bit further. Marketing of the device. These are the three major costs that we have. So our total ask is around 60 lakhs. With this, we will be able to scale up and ensure that we can offer the device at a very competitive price. The next slide, which is the last slide. So the benefits to hospital, which I have already mentioned, is that their staff doesn't have to move around. The doctors and the nurse time is more efficiently used, and they have an access through our EMR to all the patient's data. Wherever they are, the doctor or the nurse can have a look at it, and they can initiate audio video call with the patient. And for investors with a small investment, we can really scale this up at a very good margin. We can market this solution and ensure that we reach a larger segment of the population. Thank you.
Thank you.
Open to questions.
Yeah, any questions from the panel? I think it's a very good application, and but what I did not see is what is that COVID and beyond. What is that beyond?
So in terms of this solution, apart from catering to the COVID needs, one of the use cases that we have found with one of our partners is this can also be used as a remote health monitoring solution. So one of our clinical partners is starting a trial next week where they will be giving a device, our device, along with the Bluetooth printer, and this remote health monitoring solution will be used where they'll go and check the vital parameters of the patients, and they will then connect them to the hospital through the audio video call facility that we have, and they can write out a prescription, and the medicines can be provided either through the clinical partner or the patient can buy from a local pharmacy. So we are starting a trial of this next week with one of the reputed hospitals here. So it is not just COVID, it is apart from COVID, for regular health problems, this entire solution can be used. If we couple this with other devices like a BP meter as well as a standard glucometer for NCD monitoring as well.
Like dengue fever and all that.
Yes, and we can also add infectious diseases. We have already added infectious diseases facility to this app. So nearly some 8 to 10 different infectious devices tests can be carried out along with this app and tied to the remote health monitoring solution.
Thank you. Maybe you should also get connected with some pharma companies because they will.
Yeah, I think we are targeting that, and
okay. Thank you. Let's. Any more questions? Anyone have any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, let's go to the next one. That is. Thank you, Shailendra.
Thanks for the opportunity.
The next one is Kumuda Health Tech Private Limited. Dr. Sampath Kumar.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm representing Kumuda Health Tech Private Limited. I'm Dr. Sampath Kumar. Next slide, please. So we have a unique product called Spinac, which is a 3D diagnostic and treatment planning tool for the spinal disorders. What it does is it takes two X-rays, that is frontal and lateral X-rays, and using those two X-rays, it will form a 3D model of the spine. And this model is kept in the cloud, and a registered user can get the 3D model just by uploading it
2 X-rays to this cloud software. The stage of innovation is ready to market, and the intended benefits are the radiation is acceptable because only 2 X-rays are taken. It's low cost and time. It's portable and used in any environment. The impact is you can use the diagnosis of the scoliosis, herniated disc, or spinal trauma. This can be used. Surgical planning, it can be used. And 3D evaluation of the Boston-based system, it can be used. And also for new fixation methods, it can be used. Next slide, please. The problem is called scoliosis. It's a 3D deformity. You cannot access this scoliosis using 2 X-rays because the problem is in 3D in nature. And it occurs for 2 to 3% of the population. And CT and MRI have restricted usage. The main reason is CT is carcinogenic, and MRI, it cannot be used when the spine has already some fixations present in it. The current practice is AOA's imaging system, which is very costly and it needs full body scanning. And the diagnosis, 2D diagnosis, is inaccurate, and also we need a 3D model in upright position, whereas CT and MRI give the model, 3D model, in supine position. Next slide, please. The solution what we have developed is it's a 3D stereoradiographic reconstruction, and it was my PhD problem, and we have to auto calibrate it, and automatically we extract some features from the X-rays, and using image processing we deform a generic model to get the actual model, and an external interface is developed to operate with the external world. Next slide, please. We have estimated 5,000 hospitals and clinics throughout the country, and if there are 5,000 hospitals, there are 200 patient visits, and if there is a 1,000 rupees charge for the diagnosis, then it's 100 crores of business. And out of that, if at least 2% of the people opt our product, it's a 2 crore project per year. That's an estimate. And in this algorithm development, prototype development, and tie up with the hospitals, clinics, everything is done. And we have a central facility, and we have to give it to the hospitals. We have to convince the doctors, and if they convinced, they subscribe our product and they can make use of it. It's a subscription basis. That's what is we have planned. And this can be used for other human body parts also. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sampath Kumar, Dr. Sampath Kumar. Have you, how do you want to take this to the market? What is your go-to-market strategy?
That's what, sir. We were ready to go to market. It's around in February. And suddenly this is what happened, and we could not approach the hospital. Hospitals became busy with COVID problems, and we couldn't find any place to we go there and we explain our product and get the subscription.
Okay. Have you? I think this is also something where HTA route can be taken.
Yes, sir.
And as you heard the panelists in the morning talk about it,
yes, sir.
Probably that will be one good option. So you can get started with either Kalam Institute or the DHR HTA.
Okay.
And how this can be fun, because they don't see, normally these hospitals, they have their own reservation for any newer one. So yeah, that's good.
Yes, sir.
And do you have any strategic partners?
No, sir. We haven't.
Okay. Any others have any questions?
This is what, sir.
I just have a comment, quick comment, Dr. Sampath.
Yes, sir.
So fantastic initiative. I think this is definitely one of the very important unmet clinical need.
Yes,
And definitely the radiation exposure that you're talking about is definitely one concern. There
Yes,
are
sir.
other there are other important parts of cost of these MRIs and CT scans, and like the break even that
Very high.
hospitals have to make on these
Yes,
imported equipments mostly.
yes,
So
sir.
this technology is very useful. My quick suggestion would be that the technical validation is very important in your concept.
Validation is
So
done in the hospital, sir.
no,
Validation is
like
complete.
that's
Yeah.
a clinical validation.
Clinical.
I'm just
Okay.
suggesting that if you invest
Technical.
more and more time and resources in
Technical
presenting
validation.
this concept on
Okay.
a in a technical field or IEEE papers or
Okay.
validating your algorithms and other things. I guess like it is your PhD thesis, so
Yes, sir.
definitely you
Yes,
must
sir.
be
Yeah. Yeah.
having that profiling.
Yes.
But I guess like you can project that more.
Okay, sir.
And yeah, why not? There is a set of patients which are ready to go for it. The
Yes,
back
sir.
pain and other things are like kind of a very prominent thing. So yeah, I think like apart from HTA, the technical route is also very
Okay,
important.
sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Sampath Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll go to the next one, that is Natul's Hearing Solutions Private Limited. Mr. Udairag Kiran.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Uday.
Can I have the presentation?
Yeah, Harsh. I think he's working on that. Hello, Harsh. What happened to Harsh? Harsh is there. Harsh, can you take up the presentation of Uday, that is Natula's hearing?
Harsh, Kapil, any one of you are there?
Hello.
Just a moment, Shama, I'll just check. Maybe they dropped out or something.
So, Uday, you can just introduce yourself. Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, big.
Yeah. Thank you, Harsh. Yeah, Uday, go ahead.
Yes. Next slide, please. My name is Uday. I'm representing Nautilus Hearing Solutions. We are a Hubli-based company. I'm an audiologist myself with an experience of 10 years in hearing care field. So during my experience, I've faced many issues. I've seen many problems which needs immediate address, which needs immediate solutions. So with that in my mind, so I've jumped to the entrepreneurship, and I've started the Nautilus Hearing. So in the Nautilus Hearing, the innovation that we have done is we have innovated a digital hearing testing platform, which we call it Kiwi, and with a so far expenditure of 2 CR, and the current stage of the product is it's market ready, and it will be used for simple, fast, and accurate diagnosis of hearing loss. And it's a portable device. It's a telehealth ready device, and it's having the otoscope also, with which you can capture the image of the eardrum, and it's completely digital one. The impact or the end users that for this particular device will be for the doctors or audiologists, speech and hearing clinics and hospitals and NGOs. And we have received the Best Startup Award at Melting Pot in 2020 in Bangalore. And how do we want to sustain of this company is that in the 2020 will be our first year. So we want to focus completely in the Karnataka and achieve a 1 CR revenue. And for that, we would like to hire a business development manager and develop partnerships and looking for the fundraising. And for the next year, 2021, we are looking for the pan-India operations and with a 6 CR revenue projections, and also have some export to the developing countries. Next slide, please. The problem that we are trying to solve is the accessibility of hearing diagnostics to the ground level people. So according to the WHO, there are 640 million people who have significant hearing loss, and by 2018 WHO data, 63 million Indians suffer from the significant hearing loss. And coming to the diagnostic devices part itself, there is little or no innovation done in the past 50 years in this particular segment. And also the current existing equipment will be or has to be used only by the trained specialists who are in very much shortage. In Indian scenario, if you take, there is only one ENT doctor for 1 million population. I'm sorry, there is 6 ENT doctors for 1 million population and only 1 audiologist per 1 million population. Also, regular screening and monitoring of the hearing loss will help in a better treatment options. Next slide, please. The solution that we have come up with to leverage the power on the portability of the diagnostic software-based diagnostic devices, which will give the accurate diagnosis and which will make large number of people use that and lower the cost also. And to create a more platform for a complete suite of hearing testing services provided in the one platform. And also more widespread availability of the low-cost devices will enable their uses in the various healthcare settings, which will help in early detection of the hearing impairment. Next slide, please. So this is our device. We call our device QV, and it's a diagnostic audiometer with integrated otoscope. It will help you in differential diagnosis of the hearing loss. It will be used from the age group of 5 years and above. And we have an otoscope with which you can capture the image of the eardrum and ear canal, and you can see if there is any perforation, if there is any wax, or if there is any CSOM or OSOM, ASOM kind of diseases. Also, the report is a completely digital report, which you can share to the patient by the WhatsApp or mail to the patient. And we have a tele-audiology integrated in the same option, and the doctor can have the patient data management, and he can have a digital dashboard analytics. And ANML, we are still working on that. It's a work in progress. And the MRP of the product is currently it's a 2.25 lakhs. Next slide, please. So this gives a complete a product, the features of the product, advantages, and the hospitals. We have the center in the center of the hexagon. We have the kiwi, and we have the surround. The next layer will be the features: otoscope, integrated digital report, data analytics, and it can be customizable. We have speech audiometry in that. We have special test. And the advantages is that it is a portable, it is having tele-audiology, it is affordable, and it is very easy to use. Even a non-professional or a trained individual will be able to operate this device and share the data to the doctor via the telehealth features. And this device will be perfectly suitable for the hospitals, ENT clinics, NGOs, and speech and hearing clinics. Next slide, please. So this is our team. We are a team of 5. We are a team of 5 currently with 2 audiologists with 10 plus of experience each, and we have 1 software developer and with 4 years of experience, and 1 software developer with 2 years of experience, and 1 R&D with 1 year of experience. We are mentored by B. Gopal Krishnan and Dr. Shyam Vasudeva. Next slide, please. The industry outlook currently, the total global market of the audiology devices is $9.84 billion, and it's growing at 5.8% CAGR till 2026, and it's a $1 billion is the Indian market, which is growing at 5.8% CAGR. And the 1.4 billion population of geriatric people will be in the world by 2030, according to WHO. 640 million hearing impaired individuals by 2025 as per the WHO, and 80% of these hearing impaired population will be residing in the rural areas. So these are all factors will lead for the success of the company. Our business model is in the first year we want to do the direct sales, and the price point is 2.25 lakhs, and the BOM cost is 85,000. And in the first year, we want to target for the key accounts and the general accounts ourselves. And in the second year, we want to develop a partnerships and establish the brand by the next year. And also to achieve that, we are looking to publish a peer-reviewed journals for the Indian journals and as well as foreign journals, and also attend conferences.
Speed up. Yeah.
Next slide, please. So currently, the previous fundings we have received 38 lakhs from the government of Karnataka and 1 year funding from the Deshpande startups, and the fund requirement that we are looking in the next two years is 30 CRs and 110 CR in the first round and 20 CR in the second round. The first round will be utilized to manufacture 1,000 devices and 1,000 devices, which will bring our BOM cost to 45,000 rupees. And then the rest of amount will be distributed equally, distributed among the sales and marketing and the team. Next slide, please. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Very good. It is a very important field, and there is a lot of need for such innovations and reaching out to the larger section of society through this telemedicine. What is the HTA? Have you done any studies? Of course, you yourself, I think you are a audiologist, so you may have a right one. What is the response from the market?
Response, we have done a market survey with 100 ENT doctors, and out of 100 ENT doctors, 90% of ENT doctors have responded positively to the technology and what features that we are giving compared to the existing solutions. And out of the coming to the price point, 60% of the doctors was comfortable with the price point at what we are trying to position this particular product. Also, we have done a comparative study of 200 years with in-house the Nautilus. And the same data, we have done the calibration for the same product in the Mysore All-in-One Institute of Speech and Hearing.
And what is the business model which you think, because see, just the way of selling this product and making this one is one aspect, but in the segment which you are playing, probably you might have to give your device for free and charge for a per test. Is that a model you are also looking at, or?
We respond according to the market, sir. Whatever the market needs are there, how do they work out? So currently we have only one particular way to approach the market, which is direct sales, and we give the full access to the device, and they can do n number of tests. There is no limit on that. They can store n number of patients also. They get complete dashboard analytics, also lifetime software support. If the market demands, we'll certainly look for that paper model also.
Okay. You also look at technology licensing. You could go to this TechRx or TechOla.
Yes, sir, we are open for that.
There will be so many of them who may want to license your technology. Okay. Any other questions?
Just a quick one for Udaya. So, Udaya, have you heard about some of the other programs which are being floated by Medtronics, and there is a Shruti program? Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay. So I guess like that can be one of the collaboration opportunity for you. Have you worked with some of the entities which can give you these type of partnership opportunities to expand your business?
Not yet. We are starting now. We launched the product in February. Then the COVID happened, and we got locked down till now. So we are now trying to explore that partnerships currently.
Sure. I can make you connect with Medtronic, so please be in touch.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you, Uday.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the next presentation. So we go to the ninth one, that is Neomotion Assistive Solution Private Limited. Mr. Siddharth Daga.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great.
Go ahead.
Thank you, FICCI for this opportunity. I think last we all met in March in Gandhinagar. That was a very pleasant experience. This is just a follow up on that. Please, can you put the next slide? My name is Siddharth. I basically take care of sales and outreach at NeoMotion. So this is one of the opportunities that I got to spread awareness about our startup and about our products. So the main problem that we are trying to solve at NeoMotion is that on your screen you see on the left there is a one size fits all wheelchair. So that is a standard wheelchair that you would find people using. It's an 18-inch or a 20-inch massive wheelchair that people are forced to use. It makes it very difficult to propel the wheelchair. It does not allow people to access narrow corridors, narrow spaces, doorways. So overall, the mobility is not being solved with a wheelchair like that. And on the right side, you see, so for any outdoor mobility requirements of a person, if he wants to go out, say, go to work, go to a workplace, or even go to a nearby shop, you need some sort of outdoor mobility device. So there is something like a bike with these two training wheels. But less than 1% of the people can actually transfer themselves independently, especially when we take spinal cord injured, when we take the likes like that. So there is very few of them who can independently transfer, and hence that independence is not there with such a device. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, can you just play this video? Can you play the video? There should be a play button there. Yeah, can you just play it, please? You need to press the play button.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I think the audio might not be there, but this was like a fast way to just give a experience. So basically, that's the wheelchair. One of our users testers is Sailesh from Bihar. So that's how you attach the Neo Bolt. So the wheelchair is called NeoFly and the attachment is called Neo Bolt. It is completely made for Indian terrains, for developing countries where the infrastructure is not up to the mark in terms of roads, in terms of terrains. So you need something which is rugged, something which is nicely built, which can take these conditions. So that is what the Neo Bolt and the Neo Fly for that matter. Even the wheelchair will finally be going through such terrains. So you need a wheelchair and an attachment which can take these loads. So that is what we have tried to do here. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so as I said, the summary of our innovation, one is the Neo Bolt, which is a battery powered attachment to the Neo Fly. The Neo Fly is a customizable wheelchair. There are totally 18 customizations. 9 of them are in terms of the parts of the wheelchair, like the kind of tires, the kind of casters, even the colors for that matter. You have customization options over there. And the remaining 9 customizations are in the adjustments of the wheelchair, like the height of your backrest, the angle of your backrest, the length of your footrest. So these 9 adjustments are also possible in the NeoFly. And what we actually do is, so there is a service that we provide, like it's called the NeoFit, where there's a structured process where we get the measurements from our users across the country. There's a video that they follow, they provide the measurements. We do one structured profiling call with all these users. There are 38 questions that are asked during this call. And based on the answers, we finally prepare the wheelchair prescription, where we define the customizations and the adjustment settings for every wheelchair, and then it is assembled and then dispatched to the user. Next slide. So the impact definitely through the NeoFly, something that we've achieved is good health, increased accessibility, enjoyable wheelchair usage. So say, for example, this picture that you see, in the middle, there's Kasinathan, who lives in a village in Tamil Nadu. He was able to maneuver his wheelchair down a rugged slope, get into this lake and have a swim with his other able-bodied friends. And that is something that we are trying to achieve over here. And with Neo Bolt, definitely to explore the world independently, without any fear, for recreation, for education, for employment even. If you want to go to work, you want to go to college, or you want to go to school from home, you should be able to do that with the NeoFly and the Neo Bolt. That is the impact that we've created. Next slide. So till now, we've reached 130 users. These are all NeoFly users that we have across the country. We've reached out to 21 states. In fact, this month we added 2 more states from the Northeast, so that will also go. So who are using? Men and women and kids. We also have kids in 9th standard, 8th standard who are using the wheelchair. We have working professionals. We are also providing some accessories so that it can be used for wheelchair sports. Some of the awards that we won are the Titan and the Tata Trust Design Impact Award in 2018. And then we also won the CII Social Entrepreneurship Award in 2019. Next slide. So in terms of sustainability, definitely financial sustainability through the revenue that we get from the sale of our products. Our focus area right now is definitely education and awareness to individual users also, and to the medical background, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, that there is a customizable wheelchair for your patients that is available, which is made completely in India, that is available. And in terms of product experience for product purchase. And also, we've because of the price of the product itself, we have started some financial schemes so that people can afford. At the end, it is a customizable wheelchair, so there is a premium to that. We have started some financial EMI schemes for our users so that they can afford this wheelchair and the Neo Bolt for that matter. And yes, definitely after sales service, we provided remote assistance to all our users. A toolkit is sent with the wheelchair. Whenever there is any requirement from the user, we either ship the spare parts to them or we get on a call for any sort of adjustments. So everything can be done remotely so that we are able to scale this to the remotest part of the country. Next slide. Our business model go-to strategy through retail, through individual sales. We have started onboarding dealers across the country. We realize that 90% of the wheelchairs are sold through dealer shops. So we have started tapping into that market. We currently have 5 dealers onboarded across 3 cities. Philanthropy, definitely wheelchairs, assisted devices is a donation-centric market. But till now, the focus has always been in terms of the number, the quantity of wheelchairs that are donated. We want to have a switch in that mindset that we will have an impact assessment. We will do a baseline survey. We will have an impact assessment, and using which NGOs and CSRs can sponsor these units for their beneficiaries. We are already piloting this project through the Tata Design Impact Awards, where we are working with 2 NGOs, one in Tamil Nadu, one in Odisha, where we have completed a baseline survey of the beneficiaries, and now we are going to hand over the units. We are definitely want to tap into hospitals and rehabilitation centers where they can keep units over there so that patients can buy the wheelchair along with the rehabilitation training that they have come there for. It can be CMC Vellore. We already have 2 demo units, so people can purchase them along with the rehabilitation exercise, and then they can take the wheelchair along with them. It's like basically learning how to drive, but you're learning how to drive in your own car, which is the most important. And definitely overseas. Yeah, my last slide over here. Overseas is something. Yeah, so education and awareness are main asks over here. CSR projects with corporates. If we could start with pilot CSR projects with our products, and so that they understand the impact of these products in India, and definitely hospitals and rehab centers, if we could connect to them, and so that we can get the education awareness. Sorry for taking more time.
Very good, Siddharth. This is a very amazing work what you are doing, and it's very interesting. So I think there is a lot of opportunity to take this, not only do it in India, but also take it to the rest of the world. So it has a lot of potential. So how are you manufacturing it? Are you using any manufacturers there, contract manufacturers, or how is it done? How do you scale it?
So basically, we assemble it in Chennai. We have around 23 vendors across the country from where the parts come to our assembly unit in Chennai. And then we assemble it based on the order, and then we dispatch it to the users. So every part, so there are around 140 parts that go in every wheelchair. So all the parts are in our warehouse in Chennai. Based on the order, we pick it up and we assemble it. Yeah. So in fact, what you said was right. So we have an order from a hospital in Malaysia for 250 units. What that has done is it has got us there are certain certifications and regulations that are required. I think it was mentioned in by one of the mentors also. So what that order has done is we were able to get all our certifications done so that we could deliver. And then from the learnings from that, we want to expand to the other Southeast Asian countries, to the Middle East, and then we will see of other geographies.
And you have a CE certification for your product?
We don't have CE right now. We are actually just working on that. We are working with a
Yeah,
consultant.
because once you have CE, I know in Malaysia you can do a registration. For CE certified products, they directly give you an
Correct.
access. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody?
So in terms of manufacturing, we do not have any asks. The manufacturing is set. Now it's just about going to the market.
Right.
So dealer networks, hospital networks, and NGO CSR projects is what we are looking at.
So if I can introduce you to some people in Malaysia who mainly dealers. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Definitely. So the price is not a barrier when we go there. So that way it's a good.
Exactly.
We need to definitely look at overseas.
Yes, it's a good market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. So we go to the next one. That is, was it Healthcare Private Limited, Dr. Ramesh?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. I think you're seeing me with my VR gear. Hope I'm audible. Hello, Professor Sham. And thanks to the FICCI team and the great panelists for giving us the opportunity here. So Vicent Healthcare started with, we work on tele eye care solutions. The headgear that you saw was one of our collaborative initiatives with a global partner, and which is on a different use case on eye care. And during COVID is where, being a core key R&D firm at Manipal Academy of Higher Education, we were looking at providing effective solutions, bringing the best of what our R&D team can bring into the topic. Can you go to the next slide, please, Ash? So over the last 2 days, we have been discussing this key problem, and all of us will agree that the main pain problem of the close contact is increasing the risk of contagion, and that is one of the key pain problems that we wanted to address. Next slide, please. So though this being a problem statement, it is very important. In the earlier panelist highlighted that we have to listen to the clinicians well. So at Mahe, we have the infection control experts, Dr. Murali, Chiranjay, Dr. Vandana, who have been working on these kind of epidemics and pandemics over the last 2 decades. And along with the ecosystem at Kasturba Hospital, we looked at what are the key problems our stakeholders are having as we develop a solution for them. So we looked at the 4 main problems were reducing the workload at a fever clinic, or we had to look at how we can reduce cross-infection, and also look at risk patients who are coming into the system and or those who need continuous care. These were the kind of pain problems that we got in. And next slide, please. Yeah. So we looked at what are the best fit solutions that we can look at, and then we are looking at video or photo plethysmographic methods, which can totally go on to AI mode, but that's going to take us a pathway under regulatory firms. Since the need is very immediate, we went on to something that could be a one-touch kind of a thing that can give us key vitals. So when the clinicians raise the issue, like temperature alone is not a good. Sorry. Is there any issue, sir? Should I hold it?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sham. So the key aspects that we were looking at vitals were how we can get in beyond temperature. So we were looking at sensors that could help us get heart rate, respiratory rate, SpO2 levels, and also in a clinical scenario, we would also want to bring them the BMI so that it gives the head start for the clinician to help that patient in a telehealthcare facility. We also listed up some aspirations like AI and other aspects for the future development of products. Next slide, please. So currently, as per the BIRAC TRL level, we are in TR level 2 to 3, wherein we have started looking at, we are developing a standee prototype with which can easily be disinfected and measure these vitals like temperature, heart rate, respiration rate, SpO2 at a very quick and efficient way. And we have demonstrated that the telehealthcare invitations or the whole thing can be looked at, targeted at less than 4 minutes per patient, including the data measurements. Next slide, please. So then this is our current business model canvas, wherein we see that the applications that we have currently looked in, heard from our clinicians at Mahe is more fit to a tertiary healthcare setup. But we are now looking at connecting with secondary and primary healthcare providers, including standalone clinics patients, clinic professionals, to understand what their current need and beyond COVID needs are, so that we can customize our telehealthcare platform. So how we bring in is, Vicent has the expertise in telehealthcare facility on cloud and app-based developments on technology solutions. And we are trying to bring in a minimum contact screening kiosk that could reduce the anxiety and stress levels and bring in a screening efficiency, so that you can easily ensure that your frontline staff is not is at reduced risk, and also your patients get the timely and appropriate care. And through FICCIs and through the collaborations, we are looking at clinical partners who can help us validate and understand the need statement, and also run through the design and manufacturing support from these partners, and raise some funds as we scale up this whole activity onto this product development. Next slide. So currently we started with this, already initiated, and we are looking at getting some support so that we can focus on the human resource and connect with user needs, so that we can customize our solution needs both at the hardware and software level to meet the market expectations, and also look at how we can scale up through the sales and marketing scenarios. Next slide, which will be my last slide, I believe. Yeah, sir, you can finish off the whole slide deck. I'm sorry to have. Is this the last slide? Okay. So we have worked on telehealthcare solutions and tele-eye care solutions, wherein we have developed gamification solutions. We have partnered with startups from Poland. We have got it CE certified. We work on a revenue sharing kind of a model there, and we are open for collaborations here to look into scale up our technologies and to also mold what is required for a post-COVID world as we develop these technologies.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I think it is very, very interesting and appropriate at this point in time. So you have your go-to-market strategy clear, and how would you like to scale it up? Do you want to go partner with some players who are already there, with large PPP projects?
Yes, sir. So currently we are at the TRL level 2 to 3, and we need to push it very quick as we go along. And this platform has provided me with more connects through my fellow participants also here, where we see a good synchrony in some of the technologies where we can integrate as we grow together. And we need to also connect with the bigger ecosystem through FICCIs and FICCI Health and to the healthcare sector, so that we can really deploy a solution that is of current use to the needs and helping people get back to work, as we start unleashing and getting back to work. And that's how we go. And we are ready for a partnership wherein, being a key academician and R&D firm, we would want to look at distributions and other connections, so that we can also look at how we can customize and provide our solutions to the end user. So to reach market, we are open for best fit solutions that are there.
Yeah, there are a lot of partners in FICCI who are into, one of them was Trivitron, you saw, they are into large deployments. And then there is also something called GenWorks, who have large PPP projects on telemedicine across India. And we can try to connect you with them, so that you may have an opportunity to scale it up.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you.
And I see that there are some things which you are retargeted, particularly the temperature measurement and those sort of things, which also you could take it through HTA.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. That was a very good insight today, and thanks to both the partners here.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
I would like to make a comment, sir. Abhinav here.
Yes, Abhinav.
Please.
Dr. Ramesh, I think you need better hardwares for sure. I did see the hardwares that you're using, even though they have tall claims. I don't want to take anyone's name, but apparently they are not something that is suitable for clinical grade data acquisitions, and neither they are reliable enough to be used as a decision-making system. So if you want to go big, if you want to go into a telemedicine sector where devices are being used, where decisions can be made, I think you need more reliable hardware partners for sure. And we'll be happy to extend our support for these.
Thank you, Abhinav. Yeah. I resonate your concerns. Even that's why I wanted the funding to do a clinical validation, because I was not very happy with the earlier prototypes that we started using with those sensors. So that's why, as I told to Dr. Shyam also, like saying that this platform got us connected with each other. So I think we would get in touch with you and even other partners here, along with the mentors to scale it up further.
Very good.
Thank you, Abhinav. Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Ramesh. And we move to the next one. That is V Moksha. Ankita Kumar is going to make the presentation.
Hi, this is Niyati from Moksha. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Harsh, can I please go to the second slide? Yeah, great. So, good afternoon, everyone. If I asked you about a big disease, what would come to your mind? Cancer, heart disease, diabetes? Epilepsy probably would not be on your mind unless you know somebody who's affected by it. So let me give you a perspective. 11 lakh people suffer in India from cancer, 22 lakh from heart diseases, but more than 2 crore people suffer from epilepsy. 70% of all epilepsies can be managed or cured with the right diagnosis. It is unfortunate that most people do not have access to high quality diagnosis. Can I have the slide change, please? So there is a need for a diagnostic device which can be used in a low resource setting, has improved speed and accuracy, and be cost effective compared to the current solutions available. Next slide, please. We at Moksha have developed the first of its kind smartphone-based robotic video EEG solution. Our product can record simultaneous and uninterrupted EEG and video data of a patient for up to 7 days. Next slide, please. Our patented Follow Me technology can be used at home, so it uses significantly less resource and manpower. Next slide, please. The market is large and worldwide for us, for our product, as you can see from the data on the screen. Our technology is a game changer compared to the machinery intensive and resource intensive options available in the market currently. In terms of commercialization, we have signed an MOU with a leading global EEG manufacturer and have another similar one in the pipeline. We also are in talks to have a tie-up with hospitals in India and US for pilot studies. Our projection is to be in 250 hospitals and reach 1 lakh seizure sufferers by the year 3rd of our operations. Next slide, please. In terms of milestones, we have completed our validation studies with one of the largest epilepsy care centers in India. And we are now in the process of clinical studies at a hospital in Bangalore. We are aiming to get our regulatory approvals by the middle of next year to launch the product commercially. Next slide, please. So our funding goal is about 11 crores, and most of it is going to go towards refining the product that we have and also to get the necessary regulatory and IP approvals. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, I hope I have been able to convince you that this is a big problem and our solution has the potential of making a big impact. And I'm really looking forward for your support to help us reach this finish line. Thank you. Mr. Shyam, hello.
Bye. Thank you. It was a good presentation. Very interesting, because epilepsy is a very, very big problem, as you see there. And this is I've not seen many products in this space, and this is one of the very good ones. You already have some marketing in US, or you have customers in US. Is that right?
We currently have tie-ups with some hospital. We are in talks right now where they will be testing out our product with their set of patients. So yes.
How regulatory? What stage are you at the regulatory?
So that's what we are currently trying to get FDA approvals and also get into Indian approval. So we are at that stage as far as, and we are also validating whatever data we are collecting. So right now we are validating all our EEG data, everything, so that we are spot on when we do get to the FDA and CE regulations.
You're doing it parallelly, or?
Yeah, we started the process.
Okay.
So I just wanted to understand what specifically Niyati, what is that specifically you would be expecting from a body like FICCI?
Okay, so essentially our reason to be here is to be able to have partners for, of course, the pilots, because that is what we are doing right now. The more data you have in terms of your product, the better you can make it. And the second thing is we're also looking for partnerships with organizations like Trivitron and Apollo Telehealth, because essentially that's our next step in terms of taking it to the market.
So Nayati, I mean, you can write into us. We'll connect you to the respective people who are the right connects in these organizations.
Great. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. I think there are no more questions. We go to the next one. This is the last one. Yeah. So this is Wealthy Therapeutics. Ryan Shah, can you make the presentation?
Hello.
Okay, started. Yeah.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Sir, this is Tejas Bhatt. I lead our health systems, healthcare and health system business for Wealthy Therapeutics. Great to get a chance to present to all of you all over here at FICCI, and really appreciate the opportunity. So let me just dive straight into what Wealthy is. Can we get the next slide, please? Yeah, Wealthy Therapeutics is a venture-backed company. We are in the space of digital therapeutics. Digital therapeutics are softwares and applications which work on behavior change for patients who have chronic diseases, right? So the greatest behavior change tool that all of us have in our pocket is our smartphone, right? And Netflix has shown us, and YouTube has shown us that how technology can be used to keep you hooked onto the screen, and Facebook has shown us how they can gamify the experience and engage you for hours and hours on the screen, and even other games have shown that. So we are using those behavior change methodologies and scientific evidence that exists to drive behavior change and the same methodologies that these kind of applications are using, we are putting it to use in healthcare, right? With that, what we do is we bring about lasting behavior change in patients who have chronic diseases, and our indications, which we kind of have commercialized for, are diabetes, hypertension, dyslipidemia, heart failure, ischemic heart disease, and now we are entering into asthma as well. All of these diseases have a lifestyle element where along with the medication, if the patient is doing certain self-care behaviors, right, which are evidence-backed, then both of these combined can actually accelerate the positive outcomes that the patients can see in their conditions, right? With this particular vision of impacting impacting of impacting slowing down and reversing chronic conditions for 10 lakh 10 lakh patients. With this vision, we came into this kind of particular sector. And the slide that in front of you just talks about the traction that we've had so far. We've got a smartphone app which is there on Android and iOS, which integrates with Google Fit and Apple Health Kit, and also works with multiple medical devices. Today we are a 100+ member team. We are present in 3 countries. We are live in 600 cities in India and abroad, with 6 languages supported on the platform. We've got quality certifications. I'll talk about our regulatory and quality certifications, but today the platform that we have is based on global guidelines like the American Diabetes Association for diabetes, the American Heart Association guidelines for cardiology. We have raised so far about $8.5 million in venture funds, and along with a strategic investor in Cipla who has invested in us. We've got strategic collaborations with 10+ pharma and med device companies. Pharma and med device help us distribute our application, because in India there is payer support is not there. So we are given to the patient as a drug accompaniment, where our product or our subscription is given to the patient along with the drug that they are taking, and we help in habit formation and kind of behavior change for the patient. Along with that, we also achieve commercial objectives for our partners. For example, with pharma companies, we work on medication adherence. So we ensure that the patient is taking their medication as prescribed in the right dosage, and that leads to value creation for both the pharma partner as well as us. We also have insurance and hospital partners today, where insurers provide our app or our subscription to patients who are on their chronic care policies already, and hospitals work with us to ensure that, especially in the COVID scenario, where they want to extend the care beyond the hospital to the patient's home, right? So our subscriptions are offered as home care and remote patient management offering. Next, please. Yeah. So far in terms of traction that we have achieved, apart from the commercial traction that I've just shown, we have won numerous accelerators and awards. But most significant ones I'm going to talk about. Recently, we were selected by Google for Startups Accelerator for 2020. We are part of the cohort, Google 2020 cohort this year. We are also selected by General Electric as part of their Edison Accelerator program. Bayer Germany last year selected us as one of the top startups for their innovation accelerator. A Cipla commercial partnership that has come on that now where we are in the commercial stage with them was also started with an accelerator that we won. That was the Innovatia competition with Cipla. In insurance, we've recently won the Max Life accelerator for insurtech companies, and we are now commercializing with Max Life as well. Internationally, the American Diabetes Association last year identified us as one of the 15 global innovators in diabetes technology for the work that we did in diabetes. So a lot of love and a lot of recognition has come by way of accelerators and awards that we've kind of achieved so far. And in terms of the bottom part of the slide is talking about the regulatory pathway and what we have achieved in terms of certification and standards so far. So we are compliant to the India IT Act. We are operating in Singapore, so we are also compliant to the PDPA. We got ISO 13485 last year. We are on track to achieve GDPR and ISO 27001 by the end of this year, by December. And by early next year, we are applying for CE and HIPAA. That would kind of allow us to enter the US and the European market. Next slide, please. So what is the opportunity and what is the larger problem that we are solving? The opportunities that we are solving is that payer economics. When we work with payers, we should, especially when we talk about insurers, the patient should be paying for the better health, right? Not for the pill or the consult, right? So solutions like ours, where the lifestyle component is integrated and the data is visible in real time to payers, there they can actually devise pay-as-you-live policies and pay-as-you-live programs for patients. So patients who are doing better in their lifestyle can pay lesser in terms of premiums, right? Patients who are not doing that well can pay more premium. And in India, it does not exist. Everybody pays equal, and the patient who is actually doing well pays for somebody else who is kind of making the claims, right? The other kind of gaps that we are addressing is digital therapeutics and digital medicines are using real world data to supplement the clinical trial outcomes that are seen in pivotal studies in very controlled environment. So when you combine real world data with a device or with drug, right, you are able to then see what is the performance or what is the efficacy of a molecule or a technology in real life. A platform like us allows to do that. And also, when we talk about chronic health, right? So when we spoke to thousands of clinicians today who have access to our platform, one thing came out, in terms of chronic health, that every patient is unique, and the treatment it should be a treatment protocol that the doctors follow painstakingly, right? It has to align with what that particular individual is, his ethnicity, his cultural upbringing, his genotype, his lifestyle habits, right? But the drug that is given to the patient is the same to two patients who are completely different in personality type or in terms of the genetics and also in terms of the lifestyle habits. They are taking the same drug. Then how can we expect the similar outcomes or similar improvement for them, right? So the healthcare has to be consumerized at an individual patient level, and this is what solutions like exactly. So this is what solutions like us enable, sir, where we are actually tailoring the advice that is given to the patient for the lifestyle and behavior change at an individual level. Next slide, please. In terms of basic fundamentals of how this works is there is proven medical guidelines for behavior intervention that are there from pivotal studies that have been conducted and recognized by the American Diabetes Association, by the European Society of Cardiology, by different bodies that are considered to be gold standard in different disease areas. What we do is that we take those guidelines and we use our technology, our artificial intelligence platform and our logic system to take those guidelines, localize them to the market in which we are operating in, and then integrate it into a consumable advice that is given to the patient via the mobile app. And it is easy to follow journey where small steps are given every day that you have to do these 3 things or these 4 things today in order to make your day successful, so that every day is looked at a balance sheet, right? Like a balance sheet in terms of, what is the positive and what is the negative that you did and how does it balance out, right? And then once we align that with the current care that the patient is getting from his clinicians and from the drugs that they're taking, all these 3 combined lead to better outcomes, right? And while doing that, we are helping hospitals, payers, pharma, and med device who our direct customers in achieving their commercial objectives as well. Right? Let's move to the next slide. Yeah, so from a hospital perspective, how we add commercial value is that when our app is given as a subscription for a particular indication to the patients adhere. We'll work on ensuring that the patient is adherent to the care pathway or care protocol assigned to them by the clinician, right? So we ensure that the patient comes back for the appointment, does not miss the appointment. We ensure that whatever diagnostics are written on the prescription, they are digitized and actually set as reminders for the patient, and the patient is reminded to get those tests done or get those investigations done in the at the right time. So we ensure that the patient comes back, so it unlocks more value for the hospital, and also makes the care, which is currently very episodic within the hospital systems today, and makes it continuous and more, more longitudinal, more kind of chronic in nature, which is kind of more suited to that kind of ailment. Right? That itself is around a $6 billion market today. With payers, we work, as I said earlier, in terms of giving them a real-time assessment of what the risk for that particular patient is. We also help the payers come out with, or insurers come out with pay-as-you-live policies, where the payers can actually titrate the premium as per the current lifestyle of the patient, as per the current risk of the patient. So you don't end up cross-subsidizing somebody else's claims. Well, you are doing everything well. From a pharma perspective, we help in improving real-world outcome and medication adherence. As I've already said, we ensure that the patient takes the medication at the right dose at the right time. And also we help in fast tracking certain medication to market in terms of post market validation, as well as helping pharma generate real world evidence and data where their molecule combined with lifestyle actually kind of produces better outcomes, and they can kind of actually use that claim for their post marketing as well. With medical devices, we have a partnership with Roche Diagnostic. That's a good example where all India with the glucometer, the Roche's flagship glucometer called AccuCheck Active. Our app is packaged in a 1-year subscription for that app is packaged along with that, where where we have helped Roche to increase the adherence to self-monitoring of blood glucose, where we ensure that we remind patients to do their blood sugar measurement as per prescription by the doctor. And if you look at what we managed to prove, and it's also published in a paper along with Roche, is that from an average average diagnostic adherence of about once a month, we were able to move the needle for diagnostic adherence for SMBG to 2.2 or 2.5 times a month, right? So it was a twofold increase in terms of what we were able to achieve. And all of those combined, is north of about a $30 billion opportunity that we're looking at, which we address with our value proposition to pharma, med device payers, and hospitals. Next slide, please.
Is that the last slide?
Yes. So in terms of what we are looking at from this forum, we are currently venture backed, as we said, with multiple venture partners supporting us. So we are fortunate enough to have a runway of the next 24 months. But at the moment, we are still looking to close out an currently priced funding round, where we are looking at additional 3 to 5 million to kind of close that round. We are looking at purchase of stressed, current assets with the revenue established, the assets or companies which could kind of help us shore up our revenue pipeline and be synergistic for our business model. So those kind of assets we are looking at for purchase, and we are looking at aggressive global expansion in the regions which you have mentioned. So in Europe, in Southeast Asia, and in Middle East, we already got some traction. We are looking for more partners across these sectors, which I've already mentioned. So yeah, that's what we are looking at from this forum. Thank you everyone for giving us a chance to present today.
Wonderful. So it looks like it is a very fantastic thing, which is futuristic, and also the need of the hour. I would say preventive and personalized medicine are the way to go. And we see that there is a lot of them who take care of the end stage or the acute stage. But once somebody has a chronic disease management and keeping the patient compliant with the protocol is something which is very, very interesting and also very important. So that way, I think you have the right platform to do that. And one of the things what I see is that, on the BL slide, I saw that they were looking for a platform.
Yes.
And maybe, they would be interested in tying up with you.
Which
making the adjacencies like.
Which partner are you talking about, sir?
BL. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ravindra is there on the.
Sir, I'm online.
Yeah.
I'm online. I'm hearing to this. You can share my slides with all these people, sir, so that they can contact us.
Sure,
sir.
We'll do that.
Sir, if you could.
Sir, I'm
give us,
Ravindra here from BL.
Yeah. Sir, if you could give us your contact details, we'll be happy to get in touch.
Sure, I'll connect you with them.
Yeah. So any other questions from anybody else, happy to answer at this stage.
I think you have all the needed hooks to get your thing done, and it's just that you have to scale up and expand your territory.
Yes, sir.
And also get into all other diseases, chronic
Yes, sir.
diseases like diabetes and hypertension is something which you are looking at, and maybe you can see other comorbidities, maybe chronic kidney disease.
Yes, sir.
And like that.
So we are entering into oncology. We are entering into other respiratory disorders. We are also entering into chronic pain. So these are some of the other clinical areas that we are entering into, where we are looking at all chronic areas where once we have built this platform and we have built the logic systems in place, the same platform can be utilized to kind of tackle multiple chronic areas.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
It's been a great presentation and a wonderful day. So I think these are the 12 presentations which we took up, and I would like to thank all of them. I'd like to thank Shobha ji for giving us, putting this thing together, Shashi to drive this initiative of boot camp, and FICCI for making this happen. Thanks to all the eminent panelists who have taken a lot of time to hear out to all our startups and innovators. And this is just the beginning, I would say. Already we have a suggestion to come up with some sort of an app by which we would like to connect you all so that you can take the discussions forward, and also we connect you with the right type of partners in this ecosystem. So with that, I would like to thank you all, and see you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shyam, and thank you, Shashi, for conducting this program beautifully. And as you mentioned, we will be in touch with everybody. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.